Yeah. Yes. Duval. All right. Duval. Shout out to Duval. We are live, guys. We are live at the UFC 259 official weigh-ins. Thank you for joining the stream. We have a lot of weigh-in action today. First, let's introduce the crew here. Of course, we have our intrepid reporter, Jose Young's on site, guys, doing all the dirty work to bring you this beautiful, beautiful weigh-in footage. Mike Heck chiming in from Lenox, Massachusetts. There he is in the bottom left square. We need a center square, like in Hollywood Squares. And producer extraordinaire Casey Leiden in the truck, wearing a very cool t-shirt with a goose on it. Duck. And I guess I am your host by default for this morning's play-in, Alexander Cayley. So thank you everyone for watching. Have plans beginning shortly. I mean, we have about 5 minutes, so please get in any comments you want to fire out there. Hello everyone in the comments. We don't know. I guess this is what we usually do. Who do we think is going to come out first, guys? Mike, what do you think? What's your feeling? Who are we going to see first out here on the scales?
Adesanya.
Just like that.
It's gotta be Izzy. No hesitation.
It's gotta be. Okay.
You know,
I see.
No last minute weight cut for Izzy. No, come in the last second.
He wants to come in and make that statement. He's gonna come in at 190. He's like, he said 193 earlier this week. Yeah, but he cut a little bit of weight. He's gonna come in 190. I think he really wants to make this a middleweight versus light heavyweight fight. Jose, what do you see? Jose, you're our eyes in the street. What are you seeing right now?
I don't see any fighters, but I see a lot of security and PR talking to someone behind the curtain. I just don't see anyone. There's a lot of media here, so I don't have as good an angle of the walkouts as I did the last few weeks.
I was gonna say, is it getting more packed than usual? Both obviously because this is such a massive event, and I imagine like they're getting. I guess are they kind of allowing more people?
100%. I mean, ESPN has an entire corner to themselves over here. You got Brett, Mark, Phil, Charlie, everyone's here. And then, of course, the two junkie guys. There's a bunch of Russian media here, obviously, for Islam and Askarov. Yeah, this is the most media I've seen in a long time at an event.
Is Khabib in the house? And we know he's in Vegas to corner Islam, of course.
Yeah.
I
don't know if he's here. But
yeah.
I don't know if he's walking out to the weigh-ins, but yeah, he's at least in Vegas.
All right, so we won't tease him. Yeah.
He ran into Manal Cape at the PI yesterday. They got a debate over soccer,
or football, as I guess I bet they call it. I'm sure they don't say soccer. Yes, we're gonna have a very busy morning. So we got this 2 hour here. As you see, a little over 2 hours left to weigh in, and we have 30 fighters, guys. 30 fighters.
Only 30 fighters.
Championship weight. Only 30. So thankfully, we've seen 15 fight cards booked. Even that was it last week. I think that card was supposed to be. Oh, not last, maybe 2 weeks ago. Anyway, one of these cards recently was supposed to be 15 fights, and it went down to about 12 by the time fight night rolled around. But so far, less than 48 hours away. We still have all 15 fights intact. Knock on the proverbial wood, whatever anti-jinx thing you believe in. I don't believe in any of that stuff. So I'm happy to say I'm sure we'll have all 30 fighters making the walk to the octagon on Saturday night. It looks like they're getting set up. It looks like they are definitely ready for someone to hop right on. So we think Izzy
started.
It has yes. These guys are on the clock.
We have started.
Let's see. Yes.
That was from the commission. That was the commission.
That wasn't
air horn. That was the official air horn that the weigh-ins have started. By the way,
that wasn't me. The famous NAC air horn. Yes. Yeah. Seeing a lot of Izzy support in the comments. I guess is there any Jan love? Where's the Jan Blachowicz love? Come on, guys. Not seeing any Jan Blachowicz love yet, but hey, again, he thrives under these situations, so I guess we're going to see. Where is our first?
Oh wait,
don't see him.
No, they're right here. Do you not see him?
No, you're
No,
frozen.
it's frozen.
Stream's frozen.
Okay. All right, 1 second. It's
No worries,
Nunes,
guys. Okay, it's Amanda Nunes, guys. We'll have that fixed in a second. We will, and I can see the results. We will have the results read out for you, and we'll definitely have a video later if we happen to miss it. But don't worry. I think we can still hear too, or we could hear for a second. But Nunes, 145 should not be an issue for her. Again, 135. I mean, look, she's definitely a big fighter. Maybe had a little bit of, well, I don't know, never really had any major issues. 135. I'm sure it's not a fun cut to make, but this is a featherweight title defense, so we should not be overly concerned, I don't think.
Okay.
And she has successfully weighed in 145.
Getting his first UFC championship opportunity tomorrow night. Aljamain Sterling.
All right, we got Aljo coming up. Amanda Nunes did successfully make weight, guys, 145, so that's 1/2 of the featherweight title fight on Saturday.
You guys seeing that?
Yep.
Right on.
Perfect.
I think everyone going live at the same time just crashed the internet.
Definitely. Now we have Aljamain Sterling.
$134.5, the official weight for Aljamain Sterling.
134.5 for Aljamain Sterling, 1/2 pound under the championship limit. No worries there. He's been waiting for this opportunity for a long time. You can bet that he was not going to miss.
Let's go! Watch out, baby!
Okay, RIP headphones. All right, that was thank you, Aljo, for bringing that early energy. That's it is morning local time, and of course in Las Vegas. So bringing that energy.
All right, next fighter to the scale in the UFC's lightweight division, Cruz.
Cruz up next. This will be his second UFC appearance. He will be looking to make the lightweight limit.
$155 on the nose for Cruz.
155 for Cruz.
Making
Our
a
first absolutely. Our non-championship competitor weigh-in morning. It's on championship weight. So well done by Cruz.
The light heavyweight division charged with kicking off the main card live on pay-per-view, Aleksandar Rakic.
Light heavyweight contender Aleksandar Rakic coming up next.
No, it's Aleksandar.
I said Aleksandar.
Aleksandar. Hit the dar. Thank you.
Before the conversation starts, John Anik was telling us about his pronunciation of Israel Adesanya's last name, but I'll get to that later.
$206, the official weight for Mr. Rakic.
206 for Aleksandar Rakic, making you the extra pound. Nothing wrong with that. We are 4-4 so far. No bouts official yet, but we are just starting off. We're barely 5 minutes in. So let's see who we have got next. We're seeing a steady run.
Number 2 ranked light heavyweight contender, former world title challenger Thiago Santos.
Thiago Santos looking to get back in the win column.
Get the official soundbite ready.
No.
I was going to say, I thought it'd be a while before we'd have our first official, but
what a murderer's
could be moments away.
Thiago Santos has had to go through in the last year or so.
Oh, his level of competition is ridiculous.
Official weight 206 pounds for Thiago Santos.
206. So that means that fight with Aleksandar Rakic is official. Yes. Let's get it in while we can. Like I said, we
got 14 more of those, baby. We got 14 more.
14 more coming. You love that.
Right,
that got the endorphin.
You can also see him live on pay-per-view tomorrow night, the UFC's lightweight division, Drew Dober.
Drew Dober, one of the hottest names at 155 pounds. Let's see how he comes in.
That is a handsome man. I got to say, I'm sorry. That's too early for all that handsome.
That hair is something else.
It's just too early for that handsome.
156, the official weight for Drew Dober.
156, and he slicks the hair back as the photos. This man knows what he's doing. He knows what he's doing.
I swear, like when he was slicking his hair back, he was like looking at me directly. It was odd. I think we all felt that, and I think that's the magic of Drew Dober.
He did the wink and the finger point right after too. This guy knows what he's doing.
Goodness, man. He definitely knows what he's doing.
That camera can't zoom in enough.
Okay, all right, guys.
Sorry.
Professional, please. We have a lot more weigh-ins to come. Please be professional.
Flyweight division, Jordan Espinosa.
Jordan Espinosa next. Guys, we also have Carlos Ulberg still to come up, so be professional. This is a be professional in advance, okay? Be professional. But this is Jordan Espinosa looking to make 125. For anyone who doesn't know who Carlos Ulberg is, you'll kind of get what I'm saying when he steps on stage.
126, the official weight for Jordan Espinosa.
126 on the dot for Jordan Espinosa. Smooth sailing so far, guys. I don't want to jinx it, and I don't believe in those anyway, but I don't foresee anyone having too many issues with the weight today. I'm just judging by the history of some of these fighters. I don't think anyone's had any big misses. So both thumbs up on this one.
All right, next fighter to the scale will be the last of 30 fighters to make the walk here tomorrow night at UFC 259, the undisputed UFC light heavyweight champion, Jan Blachowicz.
Here comes the champ, Jan Blachowicz, ahead of the biggest fight of his career.
I think it's wild that he has no nickname.
He doesn't, eh?
That's right.
He doesn't need one though. Just the Polish power, feeling and expression is enough.
He's a feeling. Is that what you're saying?
He's a feeling.
205, the official weight for the champion Jan Blachowicz.
205. Championship weight, of course. No issue for Jan Blachowicz. Yeah, I guess that's why he's trying to get the Polish power, legendary Polish power thing going. It's kind of like a catchphrase in lieu of a nickname. But yeah, it is also kind of cool when you just don't have.
Back to the flyweight division now. This man will be making the walk for his 30th professional fight tomorrow. 12th ranked Tim Elliott.
Wow, Tim Elliott.
I just realized this is this card is like a low key men's flyweight showcase too.
Yeah, for sure.
And Bantamweight.
125 and a half, the official weight for Tim Elliott.
125.5, the official weight for Tim Elliott, and his fight with Jordan Espinosa is now official.
$13 more.
All right, next fighter to the scale, also in the flyweight division. You can see him live on ESPN tomorrow night. Number 8 in the world, Kai Kara-France.
More of the flyweight showcase coming up. Kai Kara-France. By the way, Aaron Bronstetter on Twitter just reminded me that as Jan Blachowicz just made weight, we are also waiting for Israel Adesanya and Glover Teixeira, who Jose Young's confirmed at the press conference the other day, will be weighing in as an alternate for the light heavyweight main event. So that's so if you guys see Glover pop up, don't be surprised.
$125.5, the official weight for Kai Kara-France.
125.5 for Kai Kara-France. His fight with Rogerio, no, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. His fight is not officially. We got to wait for Rogerio. His opponent, Rogerio Bontorin. I'm just testing the truck. I just want the truck to be quick on the button.
Next fighter to the scale is one around. This fight card was built. The undisputed UFC middleweight champion, moving up to challenge for light heavyweight gold. He is Israel Adesanya.
All right, predictions. What's the weight? 192.
190.
201.
Wow.
£201.5, the official weight for the last title defender, Israel Adesanya. Your championship main event is official.
200.5 pounds. 201.5 pounds? Was that 200.5?
200.5.
Oh, 200.5.
That's what I thought. Yeah, that's what I thought. I'm seeing people say, okay, that's right. All right. I heard 200.5, not 201.5. Okay. So, well, I mean, you know what? Whatever you weighed in at.
To the scale of the UFC's light heavyweight division as we complete the city kickboxing trifecta, Carlos Ulberg.
That light heavyweight main event is now official. Gotta get it in there.
Now it's official. You realize that fight wouldn't have happened. Like the card would just ended with Amanda Nunes and Mika Anderson last night if we didn't hit the sound cue.
Absolutely. Here is Carlos Ulberg.
Oh God, I got hot in this room.
205, even Carlos Ulberg on weight for the UFC debut.
205 for Carlos Ulberg, the next big name to be coming out of the city kickboxing gym.
And there's still
and I believe he was. Yes, and I believe he was asked to be on the Australian version or New Zealand version of The Bachelor. I think that's what I heard about Carlos Ulberg.
All right, next up in the UFC women's strawweight division, a weight class in which she is undefeated, Amanda Lemos.
Amanda Lemos up next to make strawweight. We're definitely going to talk more about Israel Adesanya's weigh-in later, but it's good to see that one's official. Now we have our first strawweight contestant of the evening.
$116, the official weight for this Lemos.
116 for Amanda Lemos.
How do you pronounce your last name? Lemos?
You're saying Lemos, so I go whatever John Anik says. I go with what Anik says.
Lemos.
Usually.
Lemos. All right, gotta get you.
Lemos.
All right, next we welcome on the UFC welterweight Sean Brady.
Sean Brady, one of the brightest prospects to come down the line at 170 pounds in some time. A lot of people, myself included, think this guy's going to be a future champion. Mike, I think you agree with me.
He's definitely got the potential. It was about time he got signed. He was one of those prospects that just had to pay attention to in the tri-state region. No doubt about it.
Yep. All the tools.
170.5 pounds, the official weight for Sean Brady.
170.5.
Okay.
Which is the same as 7.5, but it's just that our weigh-in, our scale man is making it a little confusing, but it is.
Next fight into the scale is the undisputed UFC bantamweight champion of the world, set to make the first defense of his title here tomorrow night, Petr.
I feel like saying 1/2 is a bit redundant because you can only have 1/2.
Well,
because 2 halves.
You could have. I was say you could have 2 halves, which would just be one.
I have issues of this commission.
135, the official weight for the champion, Purion.
135, championship weights. And that fight with Aljamain Sterling is definitely official.
I think you need to play it twice for this fight because it's that damn good.
He is the 14th bantamweight in the world, Song Yadong.
Speaking of bantamweight, here comes Song Yadong.
This fight is awesome.
Oh gosh, we haven't. We were talking about Carlos Ulberg and Jude. Oh my gosh, we haven't even seen Kyler Phillips' hair yet. To this morning, anyway.
This is a very handsome card.
It's really
135 half the official weight for Song.
135 and 1/2 for Song.
Why you?
I'm getting into it. Getting into it now. I like it.
Our next fighter to the scale also competing in the UFC's bantamweight division, Mario Bautista.
Mario Bautista opening up the early prelims of this absolutely loaded card. I believe our lone fighter that is coming in on short notice.
That is correct.
Again, I said this card. Yes. For an injured Randy Costa.
$135.5, the official weight for Mario Bautista.
135.5 for Mario Bautista. Again, coming in on about, I think, 16 days, so a little over 2 weeks notice for Randy Costa to fight.
Also
Kevin
competing
Jones.
at 135 pounds tomorrow night on what is a busy night for the bantamweight. Please welcome Kyler Phillips.
And here we go. Here comes the hair.
We go from the mullet to Kyler Phillips.
$136, the official weight for Kyler Phillips.
136 even for Kyler Phillips. That hair is at least 1/2 pounds. Right?
Our next
Big night for the lab.
UFC bantamweight division, Trevin
Kenney.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
I forgot. I'm sorry. Kyler Phillips, Song Yadong, bantamweight bout, now official.
Oh god, I was getting worried.
That was close.
Oh man.
I was talking about the hair so much. I'm sorry. I apologize.
This is Trevin Jones.
It is Trevin Jones. The other half of the early prelim opener.
$134.5, the official weight for Trevin Jones.
134.5, half a pound under for Trevin Jones. Well done. Making sure that his fight that opens the early prelims with Mario Bautista is official. All right. Like I said, guys, we are cruising. I'd say I bet in the next minutes we probably see another few come up. I think probably not until the half-hour mark runs are we going to get a pause, if at all. Again, like I said, a lot of people here who I haven't seen. There you go. Take your time, Trevin Jones. Flying the flag proudly.
What flag is that? Guam?
Guam.
Was that Guam, I believe?
Represent?
Yep.
Not too many people. Very professional card today.
All right, next up in the UFC's welterweight division, this man is on quite a roll as he gets set for his 15th UFC appearance, the Celtic Kid, Jake Matthews.
Yes. Jake Matthews, a welterweight prospect that we have seen grow up before our very eyes. I think he was like 22 when he made his UFC debut.
Is he a prospect still? He's at 15 UFC.
No, not anymore.
No, we say.
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying he's a prospect that grew up before our eyes. Like he was a prospect.
I got you, AK.
Again, you normally let people put it.
169.5, the official weight for Jake Matthews.
169.5 for Jake Matthews. His fight with Sean Brady is now official. A big test for Jake Matthews because, again, as we said, he's kind of has been coming up for a long time.
Ranked UFC flyweight in the world, Joseph Benavidez.
Oh, Joe B coming up. Speaking of veterans, Joe B coming up. But yeah, very intrigued by the Jake Matthews-Sean Brady matchup. We have Joe B fighting for the first time since taking that second loss to Davison Figueiredo.
125.5.
125.5 for Joseph Benavidez. He made the weight.
And he's really soaking it in. I can tell Joe's just kind of soaking in the moment on the scale.
This is...
He's like Zach, Zach Morris. He called a timeout.
We're going to be saying this a lot. Okay, someone keeps spamming the chat. I don't like the word spam.
Malik.
People don't spam. The weigh-in stare down will be after the weigh-ins, official weigh-ins.
Oh, who we have next? Who is this?
Medic.
Oh, can we pan up on Medic? There we go.
Yeah, sorry. You guys know as I was trying to.
Now the official weight for Medic.
156. Was
Urosh
that
Medic.
Was it 156?
Coming in. I'll have to check 1 second.
You got that was a little bit of technical hiccup, so I missed it.
Next up, you can see him compete tomorrow night in the UFC's lightweight division. 18-1 Islam Makhachev.
That was 156 for Medic.
Which would mean
that fight with Elon Cruz is now official. It's getting stronger.
Islam. 156 pounds, the official weight for Islam Makhachev.
Islam Makhachev. I'm hearing a lot of camera flashes. He made weight 156. His fight with Drew Dober is now official.
All right, next fighter to the scale. He is the former two-time undisputed UFC bantamweight champion of the world, Dominick Cruz.
Dominick Cruz up next. I feel like he's just been waiting in line to weigh in. I think he was probably chomping it a bit, but a lot of people weighing in today.
136 pounds, the official weight for the future Hall of Famer, Dominick Cruz.
136 for Dominick Cruz. Above championship weight, but listen, he's hit that championship mark so many times. I'm happy to see him using that extra pound. Why not? So
right,
Dominick
next up to
Cruz
the scale of the UFC Women's Strawweight Division, Livinha Souza.
Livinha Souza.
The Brazilian gangster.
Yes, she loves the hippie hop.
The hip and the hop. Yeah, she's a fan of it.
Hip and I've heard. I can confirm both. Yeah. Wow, we are really. I'm just looking. We don't have a lot of names left. We're already down to a handful. Okay, great job, everyone, today so far.
I think we froze again.
I think we may have froze again. Don't worry, guys. We will keep you updated. There's a lot of media there. I think Annick's about to say it. No? Okay. That was 116 for Livinha Souza.
All right, back to the men's flyweight division now as we welcome 8th ranked Rogerio Bontorin.
Livinha Souza versus Amanda Lemos is official. And now Rogerio Bontorin will be weighing in. Guys, this might be done real fast.
Even. 126 pounds for Rogerio Bontorin.
126 on the dot for Rogerio Bontorin, making his bout the Kaikar France official.
All right, next fighter to the scale, part of the co-main event for the UFC Women's Featherweight Championship, her first title shot, live on pay-per-view tomorrow night, Megan Anderson.
Here comes former Invicta featherweight champion, Megan Anderson. She's been waiting for this opportunity for a long time.
Jose, can you describe what's happening, maybe?
1 second. This is the worst setup.
That's all right.
No worries, Jose.
$144.5. The official weight for Megan Anderson.
144.5, guys. Half a pound under the towering featherweight Megan Anderson. Half a pound under the limit for her featherweight championship bout with Amanda Nunes. And guys, that championship fight is official. I think that's all of. Oh my! Yes. We still have to wait for Glover.
One half of the feature preliminary bout live on ESPN. He's on quite a tear with the UFC's bantamweight division. Casey Kenney.
Did you guys freeze again?
No, we're good.
No, we're all good.
We didn't get Megan Anderson, but we got Casey Kenney, so we're good.
Yeah. It's coming in crispy.
Yeah. Mask on, Kenny.
Put that mask on, son.
Well, no, that's not how you do it, but close enough.
136 pounds, the official weight for Casey Kenney.
Hey, you got a pose, buddy. 136 even for Casey Kenney, facing the biggest test of his career in Dominick Cruz. That fight is official.
Come on, Askar.
We're not.
Come on,
we're not
Askar.
even at. And Glover Teixeira. Glover Teixeira is also weighing in as an alternate. So technically we're waiting for two people, but holy cow, we are still under the 30-minute mark of the official morning, the official weigh-ins. Guys, of course, we'll stick around for a bit. I mean, we will have the stare downs after, but
do we almost get 30 fighters in under 30 minutes?
Yes.
28 and 28.
We're getting like a fighter a minute now.
Wild. Oh, I'm sorry. I think Jose mentioned Kennedy and Nzechukwu, of course, has also has to weigh in. So yeah, two people scheduled to compete. One alternate in Glover Teixeira. It looks like we finally have a little break there.
Yeah, I don't see that. Like Panic is now chatting with PR. Right. So
wow, we almost made it.
Such a difference. This is such a complicated setup. Well, not complicated. It's just like. Since we're so far to the right, I have to like center the camera, so I'm like running back and forth between my camera and the computer.
Jose, you're doing an outstanding job. Keep it coming, man. We've got again. There's guys for the viewers. Been a few technical hiccups. Don't worry. We will of course we'll have our full footage of the weigh-in highlights on MMAfighting.com later, on MMA Fighting's YouTube. So look out for those. They'll be on our Twitter, Instagram. You can't miss, guys. It's the information age. You can't miss anything these days. We'll have all that stuff for you. So, and so, of course, stay tuned live again. We have two more left to weigh in, plus Glover Teixeira weighing in as an alternate for the main events. God forbid anything should happen there. But
at this point, Glover Teixeira is weighing in only to get paid, I would assume.
I would hope so, and I hope he gets his full show money. I hope it's not something like 50% or something. No, guess what? If you show, you get your show money. That's how I look at it. Mike, I think if you have the breath for it, I'm just looking at the card. This is just huge. This might be a good time for a rundown of what we've seen so far.
I would love to, AK. The main event. I don't know if we're gonna have any music.
Oh, hold on. All right, here we go. Let's do some. All right, go for it.
All right, the main event is official. Jan Blachowicz defending his light heavyweight title against the middleweight champion, Israel Adesanya. Blachowicz weighted at 205 on the nose. Adesanya 200.5. Amanda Nunes versus Megan Anderson for the women's featherweight title. That is official. The champ weighing in at 145. The challenger weighing in under 144.5. Petr Yan defends his bantamweight title against Aljamain Sterling. Both men successfully made weight. Yan at 135, Sterling a half pound under. Islam Makhachev, 156, takes on Team Handsome captain Drew Dober, also weighted at 156. Thiago Santos versus Aleksandar Rakic. That is official, 206 pounds apiece. The bantamweight featured preliminary fight on ESPN is official. Dominick Cruz and Casey Kenney both weighted at 136. Kyler Phillips taking on Song Yadong. Both men officially made weight. Phillips at 136, Yadong at 135.5. Joseph Benavidez weighs in at 125.5, still waiting on the arrival of Askar Askarov. Kaikar France weighed in at 125.5. His fight with Rogerio and Bontorin is official. Bontorin weighted at 126. Flyweights, Tim Elliott and Jordan Espinosa, they are set to go. Elliott weighed in at 125.5, Espinosa at 126. Carlos Ulberg weighed in at 205 pounds. Kennedy and Nzechukwu I know I got that wrong. I'm sorry. We're still waiting on him. Sean Brady, 170.5. Jake Matthews, 169.5. That fight is official. Livinha Souza, 116 against Amanda Lemos at 116. Uros Medic at 156, taking on Alon Cruz in a Contender Series alum matchup. Both men are good to go. Medic at 156, Cruz at 155. In the curtain jerker, so to speak, Trevin Jones, 134.5. Taking on the surging Mario Bautista, who weighed in at 135.5. Back to you, AK. Back to you, AK.
AK, what's wrong with your microphone?
Oh, I'm sorry. I had muted myself. I muted myself. I was I didn't want to distract from that. Mike, take a breath. You deserve it. That was a big card to have run down so far. A lot of results, and thankfully, guys, all successful results. No weigh-in drama so far. So I know sometimes people like that. I know sometimes we in the media love that, so we can write some juicy headlines. But it is always nice to see all the fighters again looking comfortable, looking like they made weight, looking like they're ready to fight on Saturday. That's really the most important thing. So again, only waiting now. Askarov, Kennedy Nzechukwu, and main event alternate Glover Teixeira. So guys, it could be in the next half hour. It could be 15 minutes in the weigh-ins. We know guys have plenty of time to work with, and we're certainly not going to rush them. So while we wait for that, Casey, I guess we can start pulling some comments. I don't know if I've seen any real questions in there. I'm starting to start pulling comments. But, Mike, I'll go to you. Who's I'm not going to ask about.
I'm going to tell the story now. Hold on.
Jose, please. Jose's got a story to tell. Please, Jose, go ahead. Yeah.
I'm going to tell the story because I already teased it. Because know people are going to be talking about the pronunciation of Israel Adesanya's last name. John Anik revealed that at the beginning when he basically said 3 different pronunciations because he was trying to get it right, and everyone would complain. So he literally sat down with Israel and Israel's parents in the same room and was like, "Let's get this right." And his dad was like, "You're saying it fine. It's not the end of the world." So Israel Adesanya is perfectly fine from Israel Adesanya's dad. So
there you go.
He is the only one that it probably should matter.
Yeah. Look, I think I don't know if it was on one of Ariel's shows that he sort of Izzy sort of let us know about the Adesanya pronunciation, which again I imagine if you're is maybe where you if the most proper way. But again, I think when fighters from other countries or they have names with origins from other countries come to the United States, I think it's okay to anglicize them somewhat. This is done in a lot of sports. So yeah, for anyone out there who's been saying Adesanya, I never thought it was wrong. I never thought John Anik was getting it wrong. So, but thank you, Jose. It's good to hear that they cleared that up because it's I'm sure it's something a lot of people talk about, but now we know, guys. Adesanya's fine. Right, Casey, Adesanya?
Yeah, he's good.
Yeah, Adesanya? Yeah, Mike, Adesanya?
Yeah, if it's cool with him, it's cool with me, AK.
Jose, do we have an update on Nzechukwu?
Oh, update.
On his the pronunciation of that name.
I know what you were saying. No update right this second.
Yeah.
If you just bust in the sauna and just ask him, how do you pronounce your name real quick?
Kennedy, are you busy? You're probably not busy right now, right? Listen, let me get your ear here for a second. Yeah, no, that's the last thing he would want. So Mike, I'll go to you. What storyline? And I don't mean necessarily a fight story. Any fighter. I know again you talk to a lot of these guys. You talked to a lot of them before, some of them long before they made it to the UFC. So who are you looking at here? Who are you looking at storyline wise to kind of take advantage of being on this massive card?
I think it's 2 for me that are kind of flying under the radar, and both are challengers heading into tomorrow. Megan Anderson certainly is a storyline for me because, ever since she broke onto the scene, came to the United States, started fighting for Invicta, she was kind of the one that fans were looking at, like, if they make a featherweight division, like, we got to bring her over. Like, finally she made it. And then she was going to fight Chris Cyborg. That fight fell out. And then everything happened with Cyborg and the division, and then Amanda Nunes going up. And now with the division being kind of in the position that it's in, Megan Anderson finally gets her opportunity to fight Amanda Nunes for the title. And this could be, her only shot at a UFC title. And this could be the final title fight in this division. We have no idea what's going to happen. Amanda Nunes is saying the right things. Dana White is saying the right things, but we don't have an answer on that yet. So Megan Anderson getting her opportunity, maybe her only opportunity to fight for a world title. That's a story to me. And then, of course, Aljamain Sterling. I mean, when he burst onto the scene in 2014, everyone was like, this guy's going to be fighting for a title. And he wins his first 4 fights, getting ready to fight Brian Caraway in 2016, less than 2 years later. And had he won that fight, everyone was like, this guy's next for the belt. Loses a split decision. Then he loses to Rafael Assunção, wins a couple, and then gets knocked out by Marlon Moraes. And now he's won his last 5 fights. The submission win over Corey Sandhagen. It still took Dana White and the UFC forever to say, this guy is the number 1 contender. This guy's going to fight for a title next. Finally, we have it. Aljamain Sterling's road to a title 7 years later. It's finally here, and he's got his hands full against Petr Yan. Dana White said it best at the press conference yesterday. These 2 guys at their respective points in their careers, they're meeting up at the absolute perfect time. I cannot wait. This has Savage Steamboat WrestleMania 3 written all over it. I can't wait. Like, I know the headlines are in other places, especially in the main event, just like at WrestleMania 3. It was Hogan and Andre, but Savage and Steamboat stole the show. I have a great feeling that this one will do very similar, if not better, than Savage Steamboat. I cannot wait to see how that plays out. Those, to me, are the underappreciated storylines, so to speak, heading into tomorrow night.
You know what's interesting? I think, like I was looking at, Aljamain's, kind of his record and stuff. It's like he's actually had a much tougher road to get to where he is right now in the UFC than Petr Yan. That's not Petr Yan's fault. I mean, whoever they put in front of him, he beat the crap out of, and now he's here. But Aljo's like actually, I would say his record, he's beaten better competition overall, but it's about win streaks, and now they're here. It's just the timing of it, So yeah, I totally agree with you, Mike. This, even though Petr Yan is the champ, I still think because he got there so quickly in a sense, he has a lot to prove still.
Yeah, and that's why so much of the questions, the narrative come. Even Dominick Cruz himself, of course, a longtime champion, one of the most credible champions in the sport, was asked about Yan as like how important is this fight to him, for him not to be viewed. I don't know if the question was phrased this way, but for him to not be viewed as a paper champion, for lack of a better term, because a lot of people say, you have to defend at least once. You have to defend for at least once to be considered a true champion. I don't know if I agree with that. I think the belt you're a champ, but I understand where the sentiment comes from. And Dominick Cruz kind of, addressing the level of competition thing that you guys were talking about. Cruz said the rankings are, well, he was pretty harsh. He said the rankings are more based on how much people are getting paid as opposed to their necessarily who they've beaten, which is
why a lot
of not certainly a point to make.
A lot of the problem is of media doing rankings for the promoters, because it literally affects their paychecks. For promotion, I'm talking for promotional rankings only. I'm not talking worldwide, cross promotional rankings. But if you just do rankings solely for one promotion that's only done by the media, it does actually affect their pay. So Dominick is right in a sense.
Dominick is I mean, look, he's a very insightful guy, so he's definitely made a strong point there. And again, it also speaks to kind of what we're saying about Aljo, where it's like, okay, he's not the champion. He hasn't held the title, but what does that necessarily mean when you look at his level of competition? Was there not a point where he could say he was one of the 2-3 best bantamweights in the world based on who he beat? Yeah, probably. Why does the belt necessarily define that? The argument would be made, of course, for Tony Ferguson as well. Tony Ferguson, I think one of the 3 greatest lightweights of all time, probably. But people will go, oh, well, he didn't win a UFC title, and it's like,
that's all timing.
Does that matter?
That's just timing. Yeah.
Can you are there people who would seriously say, like Conor McGregor has had a better lightweight career than Tony Ferguson? That would be insane, right? You wouldn't. There's no way you could reasonably argue that. But again, from a casual, one guy held a title, one guy didn't. I wish it didn't come down to that. But and I say the same thing for Aljamain Sterling. If he does not win the belt on Saturday, he's still one of the 2 or 3 best. I think he would definitely get another shot in the future. But it's a big moment for him and Yan. This is just a lot of narratives that can really come shooting out of Saturday's cards. So it's exciting. There's just so much to talk about. And again, nice to see so far for anyone joining us that everyone has made weight so far, including the 6 competitors in Saturday's championship bouts. Casey, any? Again, I don't really see. I'm asking if you've seen any questions, but I haven't seen any. Maybe you've got a better eye than I have.
No, I haven't. I actually haven't.
I haven't seen any yet.
Yeah.
I see a lot of brilliant comments from our viewers, as always. But I do not see a lot of questions.
Yeah, I'm so interested about the Jan Sterling fight because
it's so good.
Because I don't know how good Petr Yan is. I think we know what Aljamain. I think we know how good Aljamain Sterling is. But we don't know how good Petr Yan is, even though he is champ. But his champ is just but based on who he's beaten, I don't see anyone on Jan's win streak in the UFC that Sterling wouldn't have done the same thing to be honest. Maybe different ways, not maybe through grappling or wrestling. But I don't know how that fight goes. I think Jan's. There's a lot of mysteries still in Jan. Petr Yan. I forgot we have two Jans on this card.
There's definitely like certain things that I want to see play out. Like when Sterling goes for that first takedown, like how is Jan going to react to that? Because Jan's been really good defensively.
Really good.
So that's going to Jan's going to give Sterling some fits, like in that sense. Like Sterling's not going to be able to take Jan down as easily as a lot of people think he's going to. And then once he does, because he's going to get Jan to the ground at some point. How will Jan respond? How will he get up? Will he be able to get up quickly? Will he give Aljamain his back? What happens then? Like once the fight hits the mat, it's going to get really interesting. And at some point it will, but just how long will it take to get there? Because I think Jan's going to be very difficult to take down. He has been in his career, but we thought the Sandhagen fight would be a lot more competitive and Sterling choked him out and tapped him in the first round. So we'll see. I mean, it's just so good. It's just so good.
Speaking of Sandhagen, gosh dang it! I cannot wait to see where Sandhagen fits in all this. I don't know if he's facing TJ. I don't know if he's facing the winner of this fight coming up. I think that's pretty much the only options for him, it would seem. But yeah. Oh, dude, Aljo versus Sandhagen in a rematch sometime down the line. I can't wait for that too. 30. Have I talked about how much I love the men's 35 division? Good lord,
it's the best division outside of lightweight. I think, and I think it was the best. I think it was the best division in 2020.
Okay, just
outside of and I think in 2020, I think it was the best division. I think 135 was the best.
Well, not just in the UFC. I'm really saying worldwide too.
Worldwide, oh, if you add in other
one Ryzen, Bellator,
Patch Mix, Juan Archuleta,
Sergio Pettis,
Technically, Demetrius Johnson's competing at 135 pounds right now. If we want to, acknowledge, look, one's weight classes. I'm just saying. Obviously, he is a flyweight, but I'm just saying. But no, 135. Oh, Henry, he's coming back, and he can't sit in the sidelines for long. Right? He's got to go. No, it's talking so much crap.
We did get a question. Someone.
Okay, actually, Mike, can you take the reins for a second? I need to grab something for the site.
I would be honored and privileged.
Yeah.
How do my screen off?
No. I'll take you off screen.
Do the movie magic, Casey. Movie magic.
Hold on. Do movie magic.
Make me disappear.
Can we just follow? Hey.
From Toronto. Live from Toronto.
You're in Toronto. Hi, I'm in Delaware.
I gotta change this. Toronto. Jeez, this is embarrassing.
Yeah.
Hold on. Boom.
There it is. Inglewood up to no good. UFC 259 going down tomorrow night. Such a good card. I've been praising it like crazy. Like I'm not being paid by the UFC. It's just that good. It's just that good. It's so good. Top to bottom. Every fight has intrigue and a storyline, and so far so good on the scales.
Yeah,
which is a beautiful thing.
People often ask us, is this pay-per-view card worth getting and everything? And a lot of times, like, well, if you got the money, spend the money, go for it. But I have no issue saying if you're even the most casual MMA fan, this is $70 well worth it, well worth your evening, and that's not even including the the prelims, which are obviously free. Well, not free, but ESPN Plus and all that stuff. But it's man, it's like how is this card so loaded with 15 fights? And I'm pretty confident we're gonna get 15 fights too. It's just like we've had so many cards before. We start 15 fights, we end up with like 7 fights, and then boom, we get a great card on paper weeks ago. No one expected all 15 fights to actually show up fight night, and we're so close. We're so close.
There's only been one fighter scratched from this card. Just one. Randy Costa because he was injured. It wasn't COVID related. It was injury.
The fact I go to Tapology, at the bottom they have all the fights that fell off. Not one of them say COVID. It's just like, whoa, this is. I'm getting nervous optimism here.
Yes, little caution in the air. I understand. What is this? What is this question that popped up, Casey?
Sorry. Where'd it go? All right, here we go. I don't know how it's gonna look on the screen. There we go.
What are the chances that Izzy versus Jan looks similar to Max versus Poirier? Some similarity in some circumstances. Yeah, I mean, listen, we saw like what that looked like with Holloway and Poirier because, Holloway was tall, Holloway was the volume striker, and Poirier, every time Poirier landed, it meant something more. You know what I mean? Like that power transferred, and we all got to see with every single shot. And that just shows the true toughness of Max Holloway. And you kind of saw that in the Cater fight, too. This dude can take a shot, and it's nearly impossible to put this man on his ass. So, there could be some similarities, but to kind of play the Jose Young's card, you kind of have to wait and see how it plays out. Like until those first punches land and seeing how Izzy reacts to those shots and how he takes them, we don't really know the answer to this question, but I would say the potential is certainly there. What do you think, Casey?
I mean, in the sense that I guess Max would be Izzy, and he's going to take a beating and still be competitive over 5 rounds. And is that where Jan has the heavier firepower? Is that the assumption? Like the heavier hands?
Yeah, because like the narrative coming out of the Poirier Holloway fight was, Holloway hung in there. It was a great matchup. Holloway probably landed more than Poirier, but Poirier landed the more effective shots because he was bigger and stronger and more powerful. And Poirier, so I guess he's saying, is it going to be similar in that sense?
And Poirier, when the fight did get kind of crazy, Poirier was able to slow the fight down and able to hold Max on the fence, using his size and strength over Max Holloway. Yes, there is a possibility for that. I doubt it though. I don't see it, but it'll be very interesting if Jan can just hit Izzy harder than Izzy hits him, and just be able to slow the fight down when he needs to. We will see.
Yeah, great. I mean, it's a fascinating fight. Curious what the betting lines are like at the moment. Pretty much around the same. -235 for Adesanya.
Okay, try to find another question.
The bantamweight title line continues to flip because it was like a pick'em on Tuesday. Sterling was the favorite on Wednesday, and Jan's back to being like a slight lean favorite on Friday. So.
When was the last?
But it depends on where you look like. It depends on what site you look at because some are. So essentially, some are completely even.
Yeah,
pretty much. Yeah.
When was? I mean, I know it happens often, but when was the last time Izzy's a favorite, right, over Jan?
Yeah, -235.
Okay, 235.
Yep.
Whoa! Wow. Okay, that's a chunk.
I'm gonna see. I think it opened. What did it open at? -250. So the line hasn't really. Some money is coming in on Jan, but Adesanya was only a -140 favorite against Paulo Costa to open. I think he closed at a -200. He's a bigger favorite against Jan than he was against Paulo Costa.
It's so crazy. It's like I want to say, nobody still believes in Jan, but then I look at my picks, and for the last 5 fights, I picked against Jan in my picks. I mean, the Santos fight I got right because I picked Santos over Jan, but I picked him to lose to Jacare. I picked him to lose against Rocco. I picked him to lose against Reyes. So I picked him to lose against Corey Anderson.
That's what I was saying when Jan was doing his media day. That if he felt like the UFC was using him as to get over the talent, as they say in the business.
Oh, absolutely.
They wanted Jan to win to propel his opponent, and the only person.
They want Jan to lose.
Well, the only person that picked Jan to win all those fights, Dominick Reyes.
Dominick Reyes.
Well, I'm sure there are other.
Well, I don't think Dominick Reyes. Well, not when they.
Dominick Reyes picks Jan to win every fight. Yeah, well, no, he did definitely. He's like, yeah. He's like, have you? He's like, he was like, have you seen Luke Rockhold fight? Of course, John. I was like, them's fighting words.
Luke Rockhold was a heavy favorite when he fought Jan. He
just fought Jan. He fought Jan so weird.
He was. It closed at -280 for Luke Rockhold.
Yeah. Wow.
That's wild.
And remember, this was also Jan coming off a not getting knocked out by Santos too.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
Jan was the favorite against Jacare, but other than that, he's been the underdog in like every single fight. Except the only time he was the favorite before the Jacare fight was
against Pat right?
Cummins. Yeah.
Yeah, and then Patrick beat him.
Wild.
I know,
just to see where that guy has gone. Such a great story.
His career is so unique because, like, Jan, at least Jan had probably one of the longest and most unlikely paths to a UFC belt, and then Izzy has maybe one of the quickest paths we've ever seen, especially the fight for 2 belts. How many fights has he had? Is this the least amount of UFC fights to get an opportunity to fight for 2 belts ever? Conor had to have more fights than this.
I don't know if it's the least amount of fights, but I think it's the fastest time frame.
Maybe fastest time frame. Okay, it's got to be.
Because he's been because Adesanya's been super active.
Yeah,
like super active.
Like when I do these,
that's a good question.
When I do these timelines, when I put them together and I put them together chronologically, I realized that Jan had like 6 or 7 fights in the UFC. I think he was 2 and 4 in the UFC before Izzy even had his first fight in the UFC. Which is, I just think is wild.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, he's 9-0 in the UFC, Adesanya right now.
How many?
So 10 fight.
So it's his 10th fight. How many fights did can you look up Conor? How many fights did Conor have before he fought Eddie to get the opportunity?
Yeah,
10. I just did the math in my head. It was 10.
Oh, so it's the same.
Yeah, so it'd be the same.
Wow.
Yeah. I wonder. Let me look up Cejudo. We'll find the answer to this question because it's not Nunes. It's definitely not Nunes.
Would be a good answer because he wasn't as active as those two.
I'm sorry.
All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
For who?
Oh no, 11. It was his 11th fight. 11th fight for
11th fight against Marlon.
The fight against Marlon was number 11.
Wow. But
so,
I think,
yeah,
but I think
like
I did see that Izzy, if he wins tomorrow night, he will be the first double champ to be undefeated though, too, which I think is incredible. Also, Souza had losses, Conor had losses, DC had losses, Nunes had losses before they went 2 belts. So, man, freaking Izzy is like, that's crazy. Izzy is 1 victory away from just shattering records that might never be kind of broken. I mean, it'd be very difficult to break these records, but yeah, it's just it's wild. It's just, and we still may have a good 5-6 years of Izzy in his prime, really, if he's able to succeed Saturday night. So crazy times. I mean, exciting times. Not even crazy. Yeah, just okay. I mean,
yeah, I remember talking to John Anik, and he said he thinks even more than like Blachowicz flying under the radar. He thinks that Adesanya in his quest for like all-time greatness is the most underutilized storyline in that fight. Because yeah, it's happened before. We've seen 4 or 5 other fighters like get to this level, but for Adesanya to join this table so quickly in his UFC career, I mean, it's insane. Like, it's just wild. Does it put him on that level with, you know, with John and with Habib and all those guys? Like, does he make that list if he beat Jan Blachowicz? Like, are we ready to say those words right now? And GSP and all, and you know, Anderson Silva in his prime. Like, is it fair to say that?
I mean, we're doing a lot of what ifs. I mean, but if he comes off with a spectacular performance tomorrow night over Blachowicz, I say absolutely. I mean, at least this run he's on is it's up there. It's right up there with Khabib's just run in general in the UFC and John Jones's kind of that run when he beat Shogun and that kind of first run before he started having his his outside the cage issues. But that initial run with Shogun, I'm forgetting who, like Rashad, all those, like when he had like
2011.
Yeah, those like 4 or 5 title fights.
It was Bader, Machida. It was Bader, Shogun, Machida, Rampage.
Yeah.
Oh, you got movement. Someone's stepping up.
Do you hear Askar Askarov coming up?
What a fascinating fight this is. It's a biggie. It's a biggie. Uh-oh.
Whoa.
127 for Askarov.
127. Oh no, Askar.
He's not
with over an hour to go, which means he's probably not going to cut another pound.
Does he know? Okay, I guess he knows he's over then.
No, he's not. I don't see any. Yeah, I don't see him asking for
no tell.
Nothing, Jose. He just left. All right, so. Okay.
He will not try. That is official.
Wow.
All right, just coming in 1 pound over.
All right, hold on one moment.
That is the second opponent in of Benavidez' last 3 fights to weigh, because Davis and Figueroa also missed weight for their first fight. So if you're Joe B, probably not too happy about that.
He gets a little extra money. So
yeah. Man.
So
I mean, listen, we don't know what happened. We don't know what the deal is, but
yes.
We can't say the thing. We can't run the sound cue. Jeez.
Not yet. No. Well, I mean, maybe they'll let us know early whether they've negotiated. Yeah. There's still time. There's plenty of time for them to tell us. Usually, we do have to wait till after the weigh-ins to find out if these kind of things proceed as a catchweight bout and if there's a fine. But maybe, Casey, I hold out hope. And the other thing is, I think he will take the fight. No, you're right. No, we can't assume. We can't. Okay, all right. I was going to say we just do it, but
I think the first Figueiredo weight miss with Joe B was a little different. He missed by a few pounds, wasn't just 1 pound, and I felt there was the impression that he kind of missed the weight as an advantage. This one may be a little different, but still, I know Joe B is not happy with that. He's very serious about fighters making weight.
He has never missed, and this guy has fought a lot, so he has never missed. So he has all the right in the world to be upset about the situation, assuming he is. But Casey, I'm going to ask you because you know Joseph Benavidez pretty well, I would say. And do you think there's a chance that this is his last fight? Win or actually, I would say if he wins, do you think this is his last fight? Do you think there's a chance he wants to go out on a high note? Oh, hello?
The truck.
Truck? Are you there? Oh, okay. Well, no worries. I think we may have lost Casey for a second. But Mike, I'll direct that to you then. What do you think? Do you think that with a win, do you think there's a chance that Joseph Benavidez decides to go out on top?
Man, I'll say 55-45, yes, but I'm not confident in that. Like, I guess it depends on how he does it. Like, if it's like a close split decision that, a lot of people didn't think he won, I think he may come back for one more, but I don't know. I have a feeling he's going to look really good tomorrow. So, you know what? Flip of a coin, I'll say yes. Slightly on yes, but I don't know. I have no insight on this whatsoever.
Yeah. Casey, did you hear I know you had to step away there for a second. Did you hear I threw you a question about Joseph Benavidez. Did you hear that?
No. What is it?
I would say Joseph Benavidez pretty well. So do you think that with a win, a convincing win, an exciting win, that he retires on Saturday?
With a convincing win. It's a possibility. It's a possibility. I can't give you a definitive answer on that. I really don't have insight on that. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, yeah.
What are your thoughts on the Joseph Benavidez possibly wanting to go on a high note if he gets a big win tomorrow over Askarov? Do you think he walks away?
I have no idea. I have not even put much thought into it because I'm not Joe. Like, I'm not going to tell anyone to retire, but if he wants to, like, go for it. I hope not. Like, I like watching him fight, but he has a lot of things going on in his life that he can do that don't involve getting punched in the head. So, and not a lot of fighters can say that. So if he wants to hang it up after this, then he will be missed.
He has a budding career as a movie critic. We all know Joe B is a huge movie buff. I don't know if anyone had a chance to ask him about his Oscar picks this year. I know it's been kind of a weird year with everything just really streaming.
Did you not watch me today?
I clearly missed that one. What was his pick?
He said that he hasn't watched too many of the movies from last year, from 2020. He was trying to catch it because he had so much time at home, especially with like Megan having to go to Fight Island so often, that he was trying to catch up on a lot of movies he missed, like from 2019 into 2020. So he doesn't have an official pick yet.
Yeah, that's what I assumed. Maybe he hadn't mentioned it. I assume I would have seen the clip from us or from someone else throw it out there. But I remember the last time I think Jose, it was you got to talk to him that do a nice little kind of movie pitch segment. With, yeah. He had a lot of insights to make. He loved that movie. Was it Honey Boy? Honey Boy, I think that was his.
Yeah. He also gave his picks because that was the 2019. So he gave his picks for like the decade too, like best movie of the decade, best performance of the decade. So it was a long one. Like I remember we were talking and Casey walked up to us because it was the December, January, I don't remember, whatever month it was. We were in the Apex, and Casey walked up and was like, "We have to go," and it was like 35 minutes, and he was still talking.
Casey, Joshua from the comments wants to know Riz Ahmed. Oh no, wait, sorry. Who loves Sound of Metal? Jose, you love Sound of Metal?
Me.
Okay, Casey loves Sound of Metal. Joshua is asking, what do you think? Riz Ahmed, best actor. Casey.
I would like to see him get nominated for Best Actor at least. I thought actually the best performance in the film was one of the supporting characters. Did you watch the film? AK?
I've not seen it yet. I plan to.
Okay. The counselor, the head counselor at the community center. I don't want to give too much away of the film.
Okay.
I love films. I love when you go into it knowing zero about the film. You don't know if it's a comedy. You don't know if it's gonna be action adventure. You just kind of go into it clean slate, and So I don't want to give anything away about the film other than it's heavy. But other than that, it was great. Just great.
It is a
Mike, Jose?
movie about.
Go ahead.
Hold on. Yeah. It is about a movie, and I have not seen it yet. Don't plan on it, but it is a movie about an individual who's losing his hearing and has to get like cochlear implants to try and hear again because he's like a musician.
Mm-hmm. Are you asking? Or
I'm asking.
Is that the playlist movie?
The what? No.
Playlist or something?
It's about an individual who's losing. It's about an individual who's losing his hearing and is trying to get his hearing back.
He's a musician. He's a musician who has hearing loss, and that's the very surface level of it. Yeah.
Full disclosure. Like my family is pretty embedded in the deaf community in the Northeast. Like my whole dad's family.
Oh,
is so. Say hi to Askar.
Yeah.
So my grandfather, and my grandmother, my dad's family, worked at Gallaudet, which is the top deaf college pretty much in the country. If you're a deaf athlete, you go to Rochester. If you're a student, you go to Gallaudet in Washington or wherever it is. Eventually, he became the superintendent of the School of the Deaf in Maine, and my grandmother was the principal and the head English teacher. So my dad's whole friends growing up were deaf. And my dad is completely fluent. My mom is completely fluent. 3 of his 4 grandparents were completely deaf. And it is a big issue in the deaf community of people viewing deafness as a disability to get their hearing back. So I know a lot of deaf people.
They should absolutely see this film.
A lot of people, they don't want to. That's the thing. They do not want to. You're asking someone that's not deaf, so I don't know the answer.
No. That's what the film. I don't want to give too much away. But spoiler, but that's what the film is about. Actually,
I understand that, but I don't know. I've talked to a few of, and they're like, we have no interest. And I was like, I'm not making you, but just asking what your thoughts are.
Yeah, and viewing deafness as not as a disability. Yeah, that's what, and like, that's weird.
Well, to steer. Oh, we like to have someone coming up, but to steer it back to MMA a little bit, right? I don't know if you guys mentioned before when Askarov came up. Askarov, of course, is a deaf fighter.
Yep.
I don't feel like the UFC. I'm sure it's been brought up by the UFC before, but I just feel like it's one of those stories that maybe they don't push enough.
Did you not watch the media day?
Yeah, I clearly didn't. I don't even know why you're asking at this point.
I think what he said, he's 50% and then 70% lost on another ear.
He was pretty open about it.
Jose, do we see someone? I know we just saw the guy go up there and kind of touch the scale. I guess he was just
I don't see anyone lined up, but
standard scale. Yeah, just standard scale check.
Make sure the scale is there. Oh,
Glover, maybe, I don't know. Oh, Kennedy.
Okay, it'll be Kennedy and Nzechukwu, our last fighter scheduled to compete on Saturday. But people, keep in mind, we are also waiting on Glover Teixeira.
Are we though? For what?
I mean,
what are we waiting for? I don't get it.
He's supposed to weigh in as an alternate, which I assume will be done in front of. I mean, it's always something they could do backstage. Jose will tell you why after this.
Yeah.
205.5, the official weight for Kennedy and Nzechukwu.
I was going to say.
205.5 for Kennedy and Nzechukwu. So now that is our last fighter officially scheduled, and his fight with Carlos Ulberg is official. But Jose, what is it we say about fights being official, and maybe this explains why we have Glover Teixeira weighing in? What do we say, Jose?
Nothing is official until they actually throw fists inside the octagon. Remember, Chad Skelly made weight. That didn't work out.
That was the ultimate proof of Jose's saying that, yes, for anyone who didn't hear that, that's the fight. Nothing is official until both fighters step into the cage. Because we actually had Chad Skelly make the walk and then wait, and then of course we found out on the. I'm sorry, who was his opponent again? Someone please help me.
Oh, I forgot his name.
Jordan.
Ewell.
Nope.
Oh,
Jordan Emmers. Jamal Emmers.
Terrible. Professional MMA show here. Professional MMA show. Yes, Chad Skelly was supposed to fight Jamal Emmers, and it was reported live on the air that Jamal Emmers was suffering from back spasms. So thank goodness was checked out by the doctors and was not cleared to compete. And Chad Skelly was left standing in the ring and then later serenading the media backstage. So yes, that was Jose always says not official till both fighters are in. Boy, he wasn't kidding. So hopefully, again, we don't have to deal with that on Saturday. But Glover Teixeira is on standby. Many of us would agree.
Wait, that doesn't he's not on standby. If they're in the locker rooms and Jan blows his back out 2 minutes before the fight, they're not going to put Glover in there all of a sudden.
Why not? Why not?
That's how it works.
I don't know. While we're waiting, we should. I don't know if you guys mentioned already that, of course, our own Guy Cruz, who knows everything about the Brazil MMA scene. We've been asking, will Glover Teixeira get paid his show money? And Guy has told us that the UFC is paying for his camp costs, whatever training camp costs he had preparing to be an alternate, but will not be getting paid his show money. So, viewers make that what you will. Do you think that's fair? Do you think that's not fair? Please sound off in the comments. We'd love to know what you think of that. So they're UFC putting some money, investing some money in Glover as an alternate, but not giving him his show money, which is probably a substantial amount given his veteran status. So I don't think it'd be Mike. You think that is the point, right? He would be on standby up to the very last minute, don't you think?
Yeah, I mean, if he hits the scales and he hits championship weight, then yeah, but he's the guy.
But unless Izzy or Jan is in their contract that if your opponent cannot fight, then you have to fight this guy. And that is that in their contract? That's what I mean. We do this. Do you think? Or is it just
do you think the UFC would care?
Yeah.
Yeah, as I say, do you think the UFC would care if it's in the contract or not?
What do you think? Yeah, I mean,
no, like you said, they could say,
"This is a professional sport, man." Like,
is it? Is it, Casey?
Yeah, you're right.
Is it based on what we know?
I read it online once. It might have been a rumor.
No, you're right. It might not be in the contract, and either Jan Blachowicz or Israel Adesanya would be probably perfectly within their rights to just say, no, I would not. I choose not to face a replacement. But
yeah,
UFC and Dana White have a funny way of dealing with those cases. Let's put it.
You know what? But so what? We say that, but John Jones is very famously turns down short notice fights, and yet. Mm-hmm. The world still revolves around John Jones in the UFC, and we still consider him the greatest ever, or whatever, right up there. So like, I don't think it means anything. If something happens and one of the main event guys say, "No, I'm not gonna fight Glover on six hours notice," then you go, "Okay," and you move on.
You don't think MMA fans might resent that decision?
They resent it, but so. Then the next week happens, and we can move on. They resented John Jones forever, but John Jones is like, it's also but John Jones. Gotta get John Jones back in there.
This is a community of grudge holders, Casey. People are still making Mackenzie Dern accent jokes and Khabib Nurmagomedov tiramisu jokes. All right, you think these guys are gonna? These guys don't forget anything.
Do you think these guys? Do you think Jan and Izzy cared about some memes that go out?
Like, Mike, what's going to happen if they refuse to fight Glover Teixeira tomorrow? What do you think?
They rebook Blachowicz Adesanya for a future event? I don't know.
What about the fan reaction? Do you don't think there'll be some backlash there, or Dana White backlash?
Listen, fans will still get 2 title fights tomorrow. They get Jan versus freaking Sterling, which is like the best fight on paper of 2021 so far. I mean, good God. I think they'll be okay. It'll be a bummer, no doubt about that. It's going to cost them some pay-per-view buys, but I mean, it is what it is. I get it. Some of the fans might turn on them.
I can hear Dana White saying, look, we put the money in to pay for to get them an alternate. They didn't want to fight the alternate. I can't make guys fight. What do you want?
They didn't put the money in it. They didn't pay anything. What are you talking about? They paid Glover gas money and hotel fee.
I'm just saying. I'm not telling you what I'm saying. I'm telling you what Dana White's going to say. That's all I'm saying.
We're asking very scary, very negative questions.
Yeah, okay. Prince of negativity.
Well, Casey, where are the fan questions?
It's just some guy.
I banned him already.
Can you control that? Can you block that guy?
That is banned. Whatever? That is banned. Just like anyone who slanders Ryan Hall, all banned. Don't worry, Casey. I took care of it. You will not see any Ryan Hall slander in the comments. That's all. But they've all been taken care of. Don't worry about that.
All right, ready? I have a question for you guys.
Please, Mike.
Outside of Amanda Nunes, who is the biggest favorite on the card tomorrow?
Oh, that's a good. I know this. I have not looked up.
Let me look at the card.
Wait a minute. It could be Glover time. We might have the answer to our questions. Maybe, perhaps.
Who is the biggest
scale is still out there, so.
Today will be weighing in as a backup for the light heavyweight championship.
Here he is.
Teixeira.
Gonna get that.
New England's owned. Yeah. New England's own Glover Teixeira.
Is he now?
Yeah,
he's in Connecticut. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. New England's own.
$204.5, the official weight for Glover Teixeira.
204.5 for Glover Teixeira, not taking any chances. If there's any opportunity for him to compete for the light heavyweight title on Saturday night, he is ready. He is on point. So there we go. So that is everyone now.
So wait. So if Blachowicz, if Blachowicz, if he gets sick or something during his rehydration, there won't be an interim title, right? It was just.
Oh, that's a good question.
So you keep.
I would hope not.
So he's not fighting for the title. So he. He's only fighting like.
I don't know. What if they just stripped him?
They would strip Jan.
Oh my God!
Jeez, man. Hey, Kay.
Asking question.
Hey, Kay.
It's a legitimate question. It's a legitimate question. I'm just saying, it's legitimate.
We have way too much time. We have way too much time in our hands right now. We're just way too many hypotheticals.
We definitely have a lot of time now because, I mean, okay, look. So as I was saying, 31 fighters came to the scale today. One didn't make it. Askarov, the lone fighter to weigh in, came in a pound over for his flyweight bout with Joseph Benavidez. So we don't know the status of that, but everyone else is in the books. So Mike, if you'd like to, let's run this one down.
Are we ready?
All right.
Hold on.
Let's party. There I am. All right. Main event for the light heavyweight championship of the world. Jan Blachowicz weighed in at 205. Israel Adesanya, the middleweight champion, weighed in at 200.5 pounds. Glover Teixeira, as you just saw, is the backup. He weighed in successfully at 204.5. Amanda Nunes, Megan Anderson for the women's featherweight title. That is official. Nunes, 145. Anderson, half pound under. Petr Yan, 135. Will defend against Aljamain Sterling, who weighed in at 134.5. So all three title fights are official. Islam Makhachev, 156, takes on Drew Dober, also 156. Thiago Santos, Aleksandar Rakic, 206 apiece. That's good to go. Dominick Cruz, Kenney, featured preliminary bout, 136 apiece. Kyler Phillips at 136 takes on Song Yadong, 135.5. Joseph Benavidez, 125.5, takes on Askarov, who weighed in at 127. Still waiting word on penalties and if this fight will go forward. I assume it will, but we'll see what happens there. Kai Kara France, 125.5, takes on Rogerio. Bontorin, 126. Tim Elliott, 125.5, takes on Jordan Espinosa, weighed in at 126 pounds. Carlos Ulberg. Carlos Ulberg at 205. Kennedy and Nzechukwu, 205.5. Sean Brady, 170.5, takes on Jake Matthews. What a fight that is, 169.5. Livinha Souza, 116, takes on Amanda Lemos, 116 as well. Uros Medic makes his octagon debut, 156 pounds, takes on fellow Contender Series alum Alon Cruz. And then in the first fight of the night, in the bantamweight division, 134.5 for Trevin Jones, taking on Mario Bautista, who weighed in at 135.5. Of course, Long Cruz is 155 if I missed that. But back to you, AK.
Thank you. Oh, well done. Real applause. Thank you so much, Mike. Yes, that was a heck of a thing to do to, again, run down this particular card. Did we mention, you mentioned Glover Teixeira? Anyway, Glover Teixeira. 31 fighters, guys.
Sure
31
did.
fighters, 30 successfully made. Again, we are, as of now, knock on wood, we have 14 fights official for Saturday. We do have to wait to see what goes on with Joseph Benavidez and Askarov. We assume that the fight will be accepted probably with a 20% purse penalty. That's usually standard for these 1 pound misses, but we don't know. Stranger things have happened in MMA. There could be reasons why the fight doesn't happen. So let us definitely not say that one. Let's not put that one down in pen. Let's put it that way. I want to remind people that, yes, I know there's a lot of time left to weigh in, guys, but they will have the stare downs. I assume they're probably still going to wait till the top of the hour. They're probably still going to wait till 2 p.m. Eastern time, 11 a.m. Pacific time. Sorry, guys, my brain almost fried there from doing math. So stay tuned. Casey, stay tuned to this stream, correct?
Yes. Hold on.
Yes. With this, yeah. This will be the same stream for the stare downs. You definitely don't want to miss those. Again, look at this card. Hold on. And as Jose just reminded us, that there will be a talent media day after the stare downs. Jose,
as far as I know, it's last time we did this, it went right in. Like the stare downs ended, John Anik was out there with the mic.
And who else? So John Anik, who else would be expecting at the talent media day?
John Anik, Megan O'Leary, and Cormier.
Okay. Always fun to hear these guys talk. They always have, again, look, they follow the product closer than almost anyone. They always have good opinions. They know the fighters very well, and they give you a variety of stuff. Dan Cormier is going to give you a different perspective than Megan O'Leary. Megan O'Leary is going to give you a different perspective than John Anik. So, guys, make sure to stay tuned for that after the stare downs as well. And again, all on the same stream, correct, Truck?
Yes. Stay here.
This stream, guys, is your one-stop shop for UFC 259 pre-fight stuff. Not true. I didn't say that. We're going to do a pre-show later. Guys, I messed it up already. I was trying to... tell people to stick with the stream. I forgot that there will be another stream later in the afternoon as we do a preview show.
That should be starting at 2:30 Pacific. So whatever,
2:30 Pacific, 5:30 p.m. in the one true time zone, Eastern time. Correct. What's the plan for now, Casey? Do we want to? What are we gonna do? Are we gonna stick around, answer questions? Do you guys need to do this? Everyone, including the viewers, maybe we need to step away. I don't know what you guys want to do. Leave them some beautiful elevator music.
I think I'm gonna maybe
I'm down for whatever.
Play timeline video, playing some videos, and then
yes.
Hold on.
Oh,
you didn't
please,
answer my question.
Mike.
You didn't answer my question.
Let them know.
You didn't answer my question.
We got plenty of time, Mike. We got plenty of time.
Take your guess. Take your guess. Biggest favorite on the card outside of me. Outside of Amanda Nunes.
That's right. Thank you. I think I knew we were forgetting something. Casey, you go first.
Makhachev.
Well, that was a fun game. It's over. Casey wins.
That's it. You looked that up. Makhachev, really? I got it.
Minus 380.
Okay, so that tells me that most of the for some reason I thought it was in the Ulberg. I don't know why.
Ulberg is next on that list, minus 255. Okay.
Oh wow. Wait, isn't he? He's only like 3-0 as a MMA fighter, right?
MMA, yeah. I'm not sure if
he has had so many.
Okay.
Non-televised kickboxing and MMA fights.
Okay.
Same as one of his main partners, one named Blood Diamond.
Oh,
that's his. That's what they call
it. Yeah.
Like no one called him his real name. I was talking to the city kickboxing guys, and they said one day in the gym they did a no nickname day. Like Eugene Behrman said it. So you had to call everyone by you had to call him Israel, you had to call him Dan, and no one, you just called him Blood. They didn't even call him by his real name. They just took the second down. Just called him Blood.
I remember when you did the video. I think I was looking over the posts, and I was like, we don't normally just put people's nicknames. Like, who is this guy? Like, what's his real name? And like, it's just like, no, it's Blood Diamond. I'm like, all right, fair enough. Okay, all right.
It's like the Korean Zombie.
Sure. Yeah. We just put him as Korean Zombie in a lot of stories.
And you know what?
Wow.
You know what he wears when he walks out to fight? Blood Diamond?
No.
You guessed it, AK. An Akatsuki outfit.
What? A what?
An Akatsuki outfit.
An Akatsuki outfit. I need to someone to explain me what that is.
Exclusive interview. You clearly didn't watch our exclusive interview with Israel Adesanya.
I don't think I watch a lot of these things. You can explain. Jose, you can explain to people watching if they also have not seen what this is.
Go watch the interview I did with Izzy. It was 5 minutes on literally just anime talk, and
excellent.
He loved it. He seemed to very much enjoy it. Seems the commenters on our YouTube page thought it was fun. A lot of people said this is a refreshing interview. Like it was no fight talk whatsoever. It was just all like his passion for anime.
I love those.
I started the interview with it was like I didn't give him a heads up. I told PR what I was going to do, but I didn't tell Izzy. So the first time he's standing there like just do a regular interview, and I just do the intro like. He takes on Jan Blachowicz to UFC 259, and he's just like standing there. I go, "We're not talking about that today." And he like looks at me. So we're gonna talk about anime, and he just went like, "Thank God." And you get to see the relief just like wash over him.
Hey, Jose. What's up? Is the Megan Anderson weigh-in? Is it clipped? Can it be sent to me? Because I want to air it. Because people have been asking about the Megan Anderson.
Oh yes.
Is it?
I will send it over.
Yeah, because we had technical difficulties. So yeah, let's roll back Megan Anderson.
Cool Alex is handling our video editing, so I'm gonna ask her to send it over to you.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Jose. Yes, guys, we'll have that for you. Sure, I believe that's the only championship weigh-in we missed. So I understand people want to see that. So we will have Megan Anderson for you. And again, guys, if by some chance you can't hang around for the stream, you don't get a chance to see the clip. And again, we will have the weigh-in highlights in beautiful high definition on. Mike, go ahead.
We also missed Amanda Nunes, who was the first fighter to weigh in.
Oh, did we? Okay, so all right.
We missed both of the co-main events.
Why aren't you guys asking about Amanda Nunes? So, sorry, we will have the both featherweight championship participants. Of course, we'll have that for you shortly. Yeah, stick around on here. We can throw that up on the screen. And again, if you can't stick around, MMAfighting.com, MMA Fighting on YouTube. Again, we'll have clips of all the weigh-ins on Twitter, Instagram. You can't miss it. We'll have that for you. So apologies for any technical difficulties we had earlier. Guys, a lot of that's out of our control. The internet situation at the UFC Apex is crazy. Okay, so please bear with us. But you're right. Look, no excuses. Play like a champion. We will have the footage for you. So thank you, Jose. Thank you, cool Alex. Guys, that'll be with you guys. Lickety split. I kind of want to keep on with we said we're going to dip in a second, but how do you feel about that, Mike? Do you think that's a reasonable Makhachev being almost a 4-1 favorite? Does that seem reasonable?
Yeah.
4-1.
I mean, listen, he's a bad man. You know, he's got the Khabib factor. I think the hype surrounding him, you know, since his last fight, and you know, now that Khabib is out of the equation, everyone feels like he's the guy now. Like he's the next. He's the one to put all your chips in the middle for. So I get it, but I think Drew Dober is, especially if this fight stays in the feet, is a very live underdog here. Like, I mean, how could he not? At plus 315, he's worth a look. You know, it's a dog or pass situation, no doubt about it, unless you're going to parlay Makhachev with like a bunch of other fights. But I get the line. I don't think it's like egregious, but Drew Dober is no slouch whatsoever. So
I mean, it matches the picks on Tapology of 85% of people picking Makhachev. Now these aren't best on 80. Not best. This isn't based on betting lines, just a pick 'em. Mm-hmm. And 85% for Makhachev. So yeah, that's usually about 3-1. I would say.
Yeah, I get it.
Okay, 85
fair line.
Yeah. I get that. That makes sense again because there's a lot of good matches from this card, so I shouldn't be surprised that is one of the larger ones.
92% are picking Nunes, so I mean just a little bit more. So 86 versus 92%. So
I'm actually amazed that I mean I know 92% is heavy. I'm amazed it's not even higher because I just don't hear a lot of people giving Megan Anderson a chance. There are some people in the media, including myself, who've sort of explained why Megan Anderson can win, but. General consensus obviously seems to favor Nunes, because if she loses, I think this would be only the second biggest upset to the insane Shana Dobson, Maria Agapova odds, which I don't think you'll ever see again. Those odds went haywire.
Yeah,
that was just bizarre.
And I honestly feel if they fought 10 times, I think Agapova. How do you say her name? Agapova.
Yeah, if you want to be really, yeah.
No, I thought those odds were actually fair at the time, and but that's why you fight, you know.
She was a minus 1900 favorite on some, or Dobson was a plus 19. So like either way, 20-1 underdog or 20-1 favorite, or both ways. But it was wild. But yeah, I don't know. There's definitely I'm sure this card is going to draw a lot of money. I'm sure there's a lot of people who feel they have this thing figured out. They know which champions are going to score the upsets. They know which title's going to change hands. They know which fights in the prelims. Casey Kenney, I think Cruz is probably a very interesting one. I know we're going to do a preview show later, guys, but I do want to do some quick hit picks. I'm just going to fire these out there, guys. You can give as much of an explanation as you want. Casey, I want to ask you, Cruz, Kenney, who's your pick?
Dominick Cruz.
Dominick Cruz. Okay.
Dominick Cruz.
Mike, how you feeling about Thiago Santos and Rakic?
God, that's a tough one. I like Rakic. I have no explanation. I'm going Rakic though.
Okay, he's going Rakic. Jose, are you with me?
What's up, Doc?
Jose, can I just who's your pick for?
Yeah. We have
video. Okay,
video real quick. So hold on one
Please
second.
let us see, guys. Guys who might have missed.
One moment.
We missed these earlier. We now have them for you.
Here we go.
There's the champ Amanda Nunes.
So was this the very first weigh-in? Or
yep.
Yeah.
She was the first person on the scale.
Oh. What would happen? Sorry. Did it go away? There we go.
145.
Gosh, she got the belt buckle tattoos on her arm, as if her arms were not impressive enough. She's got to have those tattoos that really emphasize.
She also
emphasize
has
her strength.
She has like UFC 200 on her arm. I think she might have UFC 207, and I think she has the one she knocked out, Cyborg, like the font with the number next to him.
Yeah, that's a good set of tattoos for sure.
So I'm just gonna do. I'm gonna do MMA math right now.
Do it.
Amanda Nunes lost to Kat Zingano.
Yes.
Got finished by Kat Zingano. Megan Anderson ripped open Kat Zingano's eyeball for toenail. So therefore, Megan
on purpose. It's like the most amazing strike I'd ever seen. Yeah.
So therefore, I mean, I don't see how Megan loses this fight. I mean, the math is there. Numbers, people.
When I said the odds were lopsided for that title fight, you thought I meant for Megan Anderson. You thought like, oh, Megan Anderson's a 12-1 favorite. You were okay. I see why you're confused, Casey. But no, yes, this is true. If you would like to use MMA math, I mean, it goes the other way too. Of course, Amanda Nunes has beaten Felicia Spencer. Felicia Spencer defeated Megan Anderson. But again, we don't. Math is what is math, right? What is math? There we go. And now we have Megan Anderson's weigh-ins. We did not have this earlier, so guys, you can check this out now.
Yeah, she came a half pound under. All right.
She came in a half pound under at 144.5, guys. I think we're going to take a. Oh, go ahead, Casey. Yeah.
Oh, we're talking fights. Do you think if Nunes beats Megan, it could go a lot like her victory, Nunes' victory over Jermaine Durandamine? Just
maybe. I think she would finish.
It could be 20 minutes of just 25 minutes of just Megan on her back trying to get up. Because Amanda Nunes seems to be like winning is of utmost importance, and she seems to be like when she fought Spencer, when she fought GDR, she clearly was the better fighter. But like I just want to get through this fight, as low damage as possible.
I think Nunes can finish. I just don't have that much confidence in Megan Anderson's submission defense. Again, I know it's only happened with the Felicia Spencer fight, so I'm probably just thinking of that, but. Because she did also get taken down a lot by Holly Holm, but Holly Holm not exactly known for submissions, so I don't know how much she was threatened in that department there. But no, I think if Amanda does get it down for any prolonged period of time, she is eventually going to find the submission. But again, this is Megan Anderson is a good striker. That's her avenue towards victory. So either way, I don't see it necessarily going to a 5-round decision. Whether that's a good thing for Megan Anderson.
It is going 5 rounds. Thank you, sir.
I don't believe in that stuff.
I hope when the fight starts, the UFC pulls up your tweet and it says, "No, Alexander K. ain't no way this fight going to decision."
Yeah, clip it. I've already said that recently about Krylov and.
Is that you too? Yeah, ain't no way this fight going to decision.
Absolutely. Oh, I tweeted it, and you know what? Didn't delete it. It's on our Twitter account. Can
you pin it to the top of your page? Can you pin it?
I will pin it. I'll pin it to the top of our page. Yeah. It says it said you don't need the judges for this one. Nikita Krylov. Oh gosh, who was it? Who was it he fought? It was Nikita Krylov and this is literally a week ago, and my brain is Ankalaev.
Yeah.
Ankalaev.
Yeah, Krylov and Ankalaev. I was like, this is going to be a finish for sure.
Yeah.
I feel comfortable using our company account to tweet out this hot take on it.
And, that was from the official account. The official MMA.
It's from the official account. Yeah, there's an MMA fighting tweet that says you won't need the judges for this fight. Ankalaev versus Krylov. Here we go. So no, didn't delete it. I could delete it. No.
Didn't you say something similar with Krylov and Johnny Walker?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, again, that was probably from the MMA fighting account as well. I've definitely made this proclamation many times, and I think more often than not been wrong, which really is a common theme with most of my tweets, not just tweets predicting finishes. So
let's summarize what we learned. Let's summarize what we learned on this official weigh-in. AK is never right.
We argue that.
Correct.
Apparently he's 28 years old. And he doesn't partake in MMA fighting content.
I don't follow. Well, I mean, look, it's a lot of stuff. I watched the Dominick Cruz one. There we go. But I will. I mean, look, don't be like me. All right. Watch all the MMA fighting content you can, especially when it's all been brought to you by our man in the street, Jose Youngs. Okay, he's been out there asking the hard questions. Confirming that Glover Teixeira was going to be at today's weigh-ins. That was proven true. That was not fake news. Jose would never do that. And yes, definitely check out Jose's interview with Israel Adesanya, which apparently I should as well. I mean, I heard they were talking about anime, and I was just like, I guess. Mike, please go ahead.
I'm sorry. Jose, this was a topic on Between the Links that we did not have an answer to. What was your sick shirt? What was your sick shirt?
Oh, it's on. You can find it on Instagram or Twitter.
Yeah, I'll pull it
up. In case you want to, you could throw it up.
I'll pull it up.
Please, please.
I want to see it.
As I've told, I don't have to tell AK what it is. That is an official shirt of the Akatsuki.
Oh, and this is why. And then Jose, you also shared with us an image of Megan Anderson's mask that she was wearing, which also has an Akatsuki.
If you guys want to see something fun as well. I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah, I see the Akatsuki. What was that though? What is that? What was that?
It's a slick backpack.
Oh, jeez. So this is a real thing. But yes, Jose got double props at the press conference from Israel Adesanya and Megan Anderson, who both said sick shirt when they saw Jose's Akatsuki shirt.
I have a big winter jacket with
there it is.
Design.
Look at that thing.
I've worn that shirt on Between the Links and inside.
Yes. But I didn't know if there was multiple shirts. Like The Rock had like $1,500,000 shirt, so I didn't know if you had like a whole closet full of them.
I do have two. But I also have a big puffy winter jacket with the same design, and I have no reason to ever wear it in Arizona, and it's disappointing.
You guys do it for the fashion.
I would. It's just so hot.
But yes, Jose definitely stood out. Definitely stood out at the press conference. Not just this question.
If you remember as well.
Is this correct, Jose? On the comment on screen?
It's the same design. Not the same shirt. So there's two. I have the one that buns up to the throat. I had that one before. Izzy wore his on the beach, and then there's one that's much more of like a Hawaiian, it's like loose. It's like a more breathable material that doesn't button all the way to the top. But it's same design, different shirts, both from Hypeland.
These fighters really love their anime. I'll never forget.
Except John Jones,
Canada's own. Yeah, he's an anime hater. I'll never forget Carlos Newton, Canada's own Carlos Newton. You celebrate with I would say a Kamehameha. I think back then I thought it was like a Hadouken. Maybe it's a combination of both. But I think it's more so Kamehameha. I think he's playing Dragon Ball again.
I don't have to tell AK what Michael Venom Page walked out to when he fought in Ryzen on that New Year's Eve show. I don't have to tell AK.
You definitely do. You definitely do.
He's wearing a full-on Akatsuki outfit with the throwing dagger. Full-on Akatsuki, not just a shirt. Like he dressed like one of the characters. It's impressive.
Googling.
I don't have to tell you what Max Holloway and his family dressed up as for Halloween. I don't have to tell AK that.
I mean, you still you don't tell me, but you should tell our viewers.
They dressed up like Naruto characters, and I don't remember which one. It was either Max Rush or his fiance dressed up in the Akatsuki outfit too.
They love anime. They love anime. I'm telling you, it's.
Hey, why don't we take about a 10-minute break,
We'll take a little break.
I'm gonna play our video piece we did on Megan Anderson a couple years ago. Everything is still relevant.
It's so good.
Oh, thank you.
So good.
So we're gonna play that, and we're gonna come back in about 10 minutes to chit chat about anime fashion.
Yes, and then there people again. Stay tuned. We'll after the chit chat, stare downs, talent media day talking. That was a sentence, right? That was a sentence, right, guys? Talent media day talking. Anyway, here's the video.
Yeah.
How did you end up in a suburb of Kansas City?
Yeah. It's an interesting story. I guess you have to start from the beginning, really. I started in MMA when I was 23, so it was kind of late. How I got into it was I went and picked up tickets to a local MMA event, and the person that I went and picked the tickets up from was a MMA coach, and it was at a gym, and he was like, "Oh, do you train?" I was like, "No, you know, I like boxing. I've always thought about trying it." And he said, "Okay, well, before you try it, come in, have a trial, see if you like it." But I didn't at first, and I didn't actually end up going to the fight night. So I had a friend's birthday party I had to go to instead, and it was at like a local nightclub, and I ended up getting my drink spiked. Yeah, and I ended up in hospital. It was the weirdest, scariest experience ever. I had a taxi back to my house and had to like stop at the side of the road to throw up. Like I knew that something was wrong, and I don't remember getting from there to the hospital. I remember flashing lights at one point, but that was it. And it kind of really freaked me out. So even if I didn't fight for self-defensive purposes, like let's go in and see if I like it, and I did. 6 months later, I had my first fight, and from then, like I got signed with Invicta and came over and had my debut fight against Cindy, which I lost. It's kind of like a good thing because I wouldn't have made the move if I didn't. As hard as a decision it was to leave my home, I knew that down the line in 5-10 years time, like I was gonna regret it. So that's how I ended up in Kansas City. I'm a martial artist, but I'm also a fighter. And I think that there is distinct difference between the two. But I think that you kind of have to be in the sport of MMA these days. Like you can be a martial artist, but you have to have that mentality of a fighter, of like you need to go in that cage, beat the shit out of your opponent and get the job done. You can be a martial artist when you're training. That's fine. Like it's all about the journey, and everyone has their own journey. But as soon as you step in that cage, you're not a martial artist anymore, you're a fighter. I just look at you and that's when I flip that switch. I'm like, okay, I have a job to do. I'm gonna break this person's will. I've seen a lot of violence. I've experienced a lot of violence, and I've dealt a lot of violence. I guess like there's a part of me that craves violence, that enjoys it, and I guess it's a thrill. Physically hurting somebody else in a legalized manner, that's great. I always had a lot of anger issues. Like I remember once, this girl was like bullying me, and I literally like went into the classroom and like threw a table across the room. I know. I've constantly been sent to a counsellor for anger issues, but there's a part of me that I guess has always been rebellious, has always been prone to violence. sounds so bad, but oh well. It is what it is. When you can feel someone giving up, it's a great feeling. The thrill of winning, you know, it's one of the most exciting things you can do. Like, after you've just been in a fist fight and you get your hand raised, like, all your emotions are just to support you and watch you and take photos. Like, that's exciting and humbling, and I got addicted, so. I'm a half glass empty person. That also makes it tough in not only my everyday life, but in training, because I put so much expectations on myself, and I try so hard to like implement all the new techniques that, you know, we're learning, and it makes it hard because, like, I set myself to a higher standard, and being a girl, I feel like I have something to prove. You know, this is such a male-dominated sport that I feel like I have to prove why, like, women deserve to be in this sport too. Like, being the only girl in the training room it's different. It was definitely like, it was more of a struggle when I first started. That's still to this day one of the things that I struggle with the most, is like being the only girl in the training room. I feel like sometimes they hide behind my height and my size, because I might be one of the tallest in the room, but that's the thing, I'm not one of the strongest in the room. My movements when I spar, it's not like a typical girl. I guess I try to break the mold and not be the 1-2 slit 2 takedown, that kind of, like, I try to mix it up. I try to do different things like that the guys are doing, and I think because I hit angles that they don't normally expect, that they kind of have to, I don't know, go harder on me.
Setting that up, I'm working out.
Like sometimes I feel like they go harder on me than they go with other guys. Maybe that's to prove a point. Maybe that's they want to push me because they know that I'm capable of it. I don't know, but that's just something that I'm constantly having to find a balance, and I guess that's where my toughness comes from. I'm like, I get beat up all the time in the gym, so like, there's nothing that these girls can do that I haven't experienced before. Like, I don't ever train with women. You know, I try and do the best that I can every day. I try to implement what we've been learning, and that's all you can do. You always put 100% in. But like, I definitely would like to see more girls training, no matter what size, like, or no matter whether they want to fight or not. I think it's always great to see people step out of their comfort zone and do something that they haven't done before, and see them grow as a person through that. I think it's definitely awesome to see that. I just consider myself like an everyday person, like everybody else, trying to achieve a dream. It's been an incredible journey so far, and it's definitely exciting to see, you know, what the next stage of the journey is going to bring.
We did it. I'm so glad that I'm with you. I think we can go this way. Before we start,
Is it Megan or Megan, or is it your accent?
It's Megan. So
It is Megan.
So
Okay.
pronounce like the easiest way I tell people to pronounce it is like pronounce it with 2 E's, even though there's no 2 E's.
Okay.
So most of the time people, when they first hear it, they think Megan, but and I'll answer to both. I'm so used to it now, but it's actually Megan.
Awesome, thank you. We've always had this long debate. It's like, wait, is this just her accent?
So many people. I get so many people tell me that all the time. Like, oh, well, we kind of thought like maybe it was Megan, but then you kind of sound like it was Megan. Like, I don't know. Think like Negan from
Walking Dead.
The Walking Dead,
Okay,
just with an M.
You're listening to the Vox Media Podcast Network.
MMA Fighting presents Timeline. Jan Blachowicz versus Israel Adesanya. October 4th, 2014. UFC Fight Night 53. Nelson versus Story. Stockholm, Sweden. The 17-3 Jan Blachowicz makes his UFC debut against fellow European fighter Ilir Latifi. The former KSW light heavyweight champion brings that Polish power and wins with an impressive first-round knockout. Unfortunately, Blachowicz would drop his next fight by decision against Jimmy Manuwa as the co-main event at UFC Fight Night 64, Gonzaga vs. Krokop 2 in Krakow, Poland. September 5th, 2015, UFC 191, Johnson vs. Dodson 2, Las Vegas, Nevada. Blachowicz makes his debut on American soil and faces Corey Anderson on the main card of the pay-per-view. Blachowicz loses by decision, and for the first time in his career, the Polish fighter suffers back-to-back losses. Jan gets back on the winning track with a decision victory over Igor Bakrajic at UFC Fight Night 86, Rothwell vs. Dos Santos in Zagreb, Croatia. The good times don't last, as Blachowicz drops his next 2 matchups by decision. Blachowicz would lose to Alexander Gustafsson at UFC Fight Night 93, Arlovsky vs. Barnett in Hamburg, Germany. And then the Polish light heavyweight loses a decision against Patrick Cummins at UFC 210, Cormier vs. Johnson 2 in Buffalo, New York. Jan Blachowicz's UFC record falls to 2 wins and 4 losses. October 21st, 2017, UFC Fight Night 118, Cowboy vs. Till, Gdańsk, Poland. Blachowicz gets back in the win column by submitting Devin Clark midway through round 2. December 16th, 2017, UFC on Fox 26, Lawler vs. Dos Anjos, Winnipeg, Manitoba. Blachowicz makes his Canadian debut against Jared Cannonier. Blachowicz gets back-to-back UFC wins for the first time and takes home a decision victory.
I said before that if Bisping would like to finish his career in 205, he can do this with me. But I know, I'm kidding. Doesn't matter. I never choose my opponents. UFC, if they give it me, and I can fight with everyone. Today I drink 2 beers. Tomorrow I come back to Poland. And I come back to home to visit my family, spend Christmas time with them.
Only 2 beers?
Yes, 2 beers because I don't like fly with hangover, you know?
Blachowicz makes it 3 in a row with a decision win in a rematch with Jimmy Manuwa.
Oh, whoops. AK, you're muted.
But I was muted that whole time. I just gave like a beautiful soliloquy about your work. No, I was just saying apologies to everyone who was enjoying the videos that we were putting on to kind of fill the last 10 minutes. You can find those at the click of a button, guys, on our MMA fighting on YouTube. All those great UFC 259 timeline. Casey and Esther's video, of course, with Megan Anderson. That's all on there, guys. Anytime you want to watch those, it's on demand. It's the beauty of the internet. So, but we are back now, as we wait for the UFC 259 stare downs, which should be compelling for a variety of reasons. For one, we have 3 title fights coming up. So we've got Blachowicz and Adesanya staring each other down, Nunes and Anderson, and then, of course, Petr Yan and Aljamain Sterling. Now, they did face, we did already kind of see them face off at the press conference, but, now this is post-weigh-in. We're one step closer to these fights becoming a reality. And, should be some sparks. 15 face-offs coming up, assuming that Joseph Benavidez versus Askarov is still going on. We don't know for sure. Askarov was the only fighter to miss weight at this morning's official weigh-ins. He came in 1 pound over the flyweight limit. We are guessing that Benavidez will accept the fight with a 20% purse penalty for Askarov, but no guarantees yet. We have not heard any official word from the UFC. So 14 fights are official. We're expecting 15, but until we see them face off or until we hear news about what is going on with the Askarov-Benavidez fight, we can't say for sure. Yeah, guys, if you have any questions before, we'll sneak some of those in. I am seeing official word from the UFC. Askarov, 1 pound over, 20% purse forfeiture to Joseph Benavidez. The fight will proceed as scheduled, or in this case, at a 127-pound catch weight. So there will be 15 fights tomorrow night. Knock on wood. I didn't even have to say the magic word. Yes, but retroactively, I'll say yes. All 15 fights are now official. That has been sorted out. So let people know on the Twitter who might not be watching that happened. 1 moment, please. Per the UFC, I have to read things out when I say this. I'm one of those people. Per the UFC, Joseph Benavidez. We have some music here, Casey.
Oh, you need music?
I don't know. I just don't want people to stare at my face while I'm doing.
Okay, wait. Let's have some typing in music. Typing in notes. I don't know.
Really thoughtful. Oh, perfect. It's like I'm playing piano now. Okay.
So while AK does his day job or whatever,
please take over.
I'm gonna go over some questions you guys are throwing at us. Kyle Kelly, biggest fight in the undercard that's not being talked about. Ooh, let me take a look. Not being talked about at all. We got Carlos Ulberg's UFC debut. A lot of excitement around him. I'm personally a big fan of Livinha Souza, the Brazilian gangster. So I always enjoy watching her fight. But as far as like title relevancy, I think I haven't really heard too many people talk about Santos Rakic yet. I feel that's gonna be a very exciting fight. I like that fight opening up the pay-per-view.
I'd agree with that. Yeah,
so,
I'd agree.
I feel Cruz and Kenney are getting it. No, the proper hype for prelim. But Santos Rakic, especially Rakic. I consider if he gets a big win, he's 1 win away. Maybe him and if Yuri beats is Yuri Dominick Reyes? Is that rebooked?
Dominick Reyes? Yep, it was rebooked. Yep.
So if Yuri beats Reyes and Rakic wins, those gentlemen might be fighting each other, or they may be both fighting for a title soon. Not sure how the UFC wants to handle that. I personally don't want to see them fight each other.
Jose's here. Hey, Jose.
Hey, Jose.
Yes.
Sorry, I was challenging the media. They're lining people up, so stare down to be underway momentarily.
Woohoo! Oh gosh, I gotta let people know. Hold on, I gotta prepare another hot tweet. Casey, you might take the reins again. I gotta prepare or throw some reader comments up. I gotta prepare another hot tweet. Oh my gosh.
Y'all need a more. We have a question. Someone wants to. They're asking us if we can hire a more coordinated host. Are we hiring? Yeah.
Where's this comment? I don't see this comment. Oh, yes, I do.
Dude, this stare down is like the old style. Like there's a mob of people sitting in the front, and we're all behind them with cameras.
So, is social distancing pretty much just given up? There is. I'll show you. Yeah. So yeah, it's just kind of social. Yeah, there's no social distance anymore. So all right, I guess.
Say hi, Askar.
Hi, Askar.
Hi, Askar.
Wait, is this us or is this the?
This is the Face the Pain remix, yeah.
Well, I don't know how I feel about that. You really don't mess with the classics, I say. There we go. There is the stage on which the people will face off. Six early prelims, guys. I'm gonna let people know we said 15 fights, but it's broken out of 6 early prelims, which will be on ESPN Plus and UFC Fight Pass apparently, and then the preliminary card, 4-fight prelims, ESPN Plus, and then the main card, of course, ESPN Plus pay-per-view. If you guys need a link for that, you can find it on MMAfighting.com. Any articles related to UFC 59, I'm just saying. We can make the procedure much easier for you. Just click on one of those links and get hooked up with ESPN Plus today. I got to double check that broadcast.
Chandler Walker asking, have the stare downs already started? No, that's kind of what we're here for. We are waiting for them to start.
Yes, they will.
If they've already started, we missed them. This is gonna be just awkward. But apparently they haven't.
When you see a man with a mullet, when you see a bantamweight man with a mullet march out, don't be alarmed. That's Mario Bautista, and that means that the weigh-ins have officially begun. The stare down officially begun. Excuse me. But yes, watch out for the mullet, guys. That's when you will know that we have fighters ready to face off. I'm just double checking this broadcast information. I'm also seeing the early prelims are on ESPN2. So there you go. I'm sorry, I didn't want to leave that out. I didn't want to leave out ESPN2. It'd be very irresponsible. Oh yes, Casey playing some hurry up music. He's trying to get the. This is the hey fighters, come on. We're getting a little past the scheduled stare down time. Let's see some urgency. No, hopefully we'll see fighters soon. But as I said, guys, prepare for 15 face-offs. Some huge names coming up and veterans. We got Tim Elliott's a veteran. I think John Anik mentioned earlier 30 pro fights. This will be the 30th pro fight for Tim Elliott. Rogerio, Bontorin, and Kai Kara France. That's a battle contender. Benavidez and Askarov battle flyweight contender. Song Dong, unbeaten in the UFC's bantamweight division. He'll be fighting Phillips. He'll be coming in to face off. And of course, Dominick Cruz, Kenney closing out the prelims. So I'm not even before we talk about the main card, you guys are going to see a lot of familiar faces, a lot of faces that are not far removed from their respective title pictures. Yeah.
I didn't hear anything you just said. I'm just jamming out to this.
I don't think I assumed I was muted. I assumed I was muted.
Hey, Kay, you're here? Hey, Kay?
Yeah.
Oh. Well, you would have said that if there was music playing or not. That had nothing to do with the music.
Yeah. Who's talking right now?
That's unreal.
I hear like a
It is
fly.
I. It is
I hear like
I.
a fly buzzing around.
Yeah. It is I, Alexander K. Lee. Providing insights. Wait till the people start facing off, then I'm really going to start chattering, all right? Just to remind anyone, just tuning in, Talent Media Day after the stare downs. John Anik, Megan O'Leary, Daniel Cormier. Did I forget someone? It's just those three, right?
Can you imagine Izzy versus Daniel Cormier? Like, I know
Yeah.
the timelines are a couple years away from each other, but I'm just like, It's just a bummer. Izzy kind of didn't come at the same time DC was champ. I don't know. It would have been a lot of fun matchups. I mean, this is a fun matchup, obviously, tomorrow night. But
Casey, what do you think about him saying his? Again, he doesn't. He's kind of wasn't giving any strong indication of his plans afterwards. He's definitely not looking past Giannis, not looking past Saturday night. But he mentioned the possibility of dropping back down to 185, which he said way before. I mean, he didn't just say it this week. He said before he wants to have that legacy at 185. But this opportunity came up to fight Jan. He had to take it. But what do you think about him now? Kind of saying, sticking with that plan, saying like, "Yep, I want to go back down and defend at middleweight after this."
Well, I always assumed he was. I mean, otherwise they would have vacated the belt, or they would vacate the belt as soon as if he wins tomorrow, so they can have the selling point, champion versus champion. But he hasn't indicated he's going to vacate the 85 belt at all ever, right?
No.
Yeah.
So I mean, where does that leave Glover Teixeira then? Let's say that Israel Adesanya decides he is going to go back down. Does Glover Teixeira just wait some more?
Assuming the winner, if Rakic wins, maybe an interim title.
Do they do interim titles if the title the champion
maybe just to keep it moving?
Sorry.
Yeah.
People hate interim titles. I'm all for them. I don't get it. I like interim titles. I don't see the issue.
I like them, especially when the champion. Let's make a hypothetical here. It'll be a great time for an interim title when you have a really deep division, and the champion of that division has has said he's retired, and yet let's say you're the president of the UFC and you're refusing to acknowledge that retirement. I feel like now, again, this is a purely hypothetical situation, guys. By the way, I'm not referring to anything in real life, but should that situation have come up, is this not the perfect time for an interim lightweight title? What's going on? What are we doing? I don't know. We always say we don't love interim titles, but if there was ever a time for one, boy, it'd be nice to have an interim lightweight title fight now, or just an undisputed lightweight title fight. But if that's not going to happen, We've had people asking. I don't think we got this question on the Ace side. I don't think we got to it. Like, what is the UFC going to do? Excuse me. What is the UFC going to do with some of its April and May cards, having stacked 5 title fights into 1 month? Do we think we're definitely going to see? I'm acknowledging by Joseph Boza's comment. Thank you, Joseph Boza, always commenting in the YouTube section. Do we think we might see an interim title fight sooner rather than later, just because they need to have a title fight headline a card?
Which pay-per-view in particular? I mean, I think if they throw enough money at these champs, they'll come back pretty soon. That's all. That's about it. I don't think it's gonna be an issue. I think the UFC is shocked that 3 title fights actually showed up and are gonna fight tomorrow. I think when they announced this, I think everyone was under the impression, okay, 15 fights, 3 title fights. We'll lose 1 title fight at least. We'll lose 2 regular fights, but. Turns out, maybe the MMA community is the first ones to get herd immunity from them all passing COVID in gyms. I think we're good now.
Oh my God,
we're about a year into this. That's what they said. Herd immunity takes about a year. So at least within the MMA community, we're about a year in, and we had no one fall out of this card due to COVID.
Dana's here.
All right, thank you all for being
here. Okay, here we go, guys.
We will shut up.
Stand-downs for UFC 259, Blachowicz versus Adesanya.
That's DraftKings.
15 fights coming your way live on Saturday night. We'll begin with the UFC Fight Pass prelims. First out of the shoot, the Bantamweight division, Mario Bautista versus Trevin Live Star Jones.
Mario Bautista, Trevin Jones.
All right, next up in the UFC lightweight division, Dr. Medic versus Cruz.
Yorosh Medic and Elon Cruz. Medic making his UFC debut. He's a Contender Series contract winner. Some buzz behind him.
Strawweight division, 15th ranked Livinha, the Brazilian gangster Souza versus Amanda Lemos.
Livinha Souza, former Invicta champion, facing off with Amanda Lemos, who is 2-0 so far at strawweight in the UFC.
All right, next up in the UFC welterweight division, it'll be Sean Brady versus Jake the Celtic Kid Matthews.
Big matchup here between one of the young prospects at 170, top prospect Sean Brady, 13-0 in MMA, 3-0 in the UFC so far, and Jake Matthews, 6-1 at welterweight.
On the light heavyweight, Kennedy African Savage Nzechukwu versus Carlos Black Jag Ulberg.
Kennedy and Nzechukwu and Carlos Ulberg. Ulberg from the City Kickboxing Gym, heavily hyped, making his UFC debut. Also a Contender Series contract winner.
All right, and the featured bout of the early prelims in the UFC flyweight division, 12th ranked Tim Elliott versus Jordan the Gamer Espinosa.
Tim Elliott, Jordan Espinosa. Elliott made his 30th pro appearance and his 15th for the UFC.
All right, our next four prelims at UFC 259 can be seen live on ESPN. First out, the super flyweight division, Rogerio Bontorin versus Kai Don't Blink Catafrance.
More flyweights, Rogerio Bontorin and Kai Kara-France, both ranked number 8 in the UFC's official rankings. Someone's 8 has got to go.
All right, next up also with flyweight, second ranked Joseph Benavidez versus number 3 Askar Askarov.
Joseph Benavidez, Askar Askarov. Benavidez, one of the most experienced flyweights in UFC history, looking to get back in that win column.
All right, next prelim comes your way to the UFC's bantamweight division. Song Yadong versus Tyler the Matrix Phillips.
Song Yadong and magnificent hair of Tyler Phillips. Song, of course, coming off that close decision win over Marlon Vera. He's 5-0-1 in the UFC so far.
What a handsome fight.
And our featured prelim also at 135 pounds, the former two-time UFC bantamweight champion Dominick Cruz versus Casey Kenney.
Dominick Cruz, maybe the greatest fighter ever to compete at 35 pounds, facing one of the young guns, Casey Kenney. 5-1 in the UFC so far.
UFC 259, Blachowicz versus Adesanya. First up in the light heavyweight division, two of the division's top 4, Thiago Santos versus Aleksandar Rakic.
Thiago Santos, Aleksandar Rakic, light heavyweights opening up the main card of UFC 259 on Saturday night.
All right, next up at lightweight, 14th ranked Islam Makhachev versus Drew Dober.
The biggest favorite on the card, Islam Makhachev, up now, and he will fight Drew Dober. Makhachev, of course, will have the man himself, Khabib Nurmagomedov, in his corner on fight night.
The biggest favorite after Amanda Nunes.
Sorry, outside of Amanda Nunes, yeah. So, sorry, I'll say those odds later.
Coming your way tomorrow night. First up for the undisputed UFC Bantamweight Championship, the champion Petr No Mercy Yan in his first defense against the #1 contender Aljamain Bunkmaster Sterling.
All right, I've been waiting for this face-off.
One of the most highly anticipated title fights in a while. We wanted this one last year, so we're happy we're getting it. There's the champ Petr Yan and Aljamain Sterling, the #1 contender, undisputed #1 contender.
Okay, we need a translator in there.
Anyone want to? I'm not even going to pretend I know what happened.
Women's featherweight championship, Amanda Nunes making her second defense at 145 pounds against the challenger Megan Anderson.
That was an animated face-off, to say the least. And now we have Amanda Nunes, the 2-division champion, defending her featherweight title against Megan Anderson, former Invicta champion.
Why are they doing the face forward?
And finally, our main event, champion versus champion for the UFC's undisputed light heavyweight title, Jan Blachowicz in his first defense against the UFC middleweight king, Israel Adesanya.
Jan Blachowicz defending his light heavyweight title against middleweight champion Israel Adesanya, only the 6th champion versus champion fight in UFC history.
Jan Blachowicz versus Israel Adesanya, your main event tomorrow night at UFC 259, live on ESPN Plus pay-per-view. 15 fights, folks. Buckle up. We'll see you.
That is it for the stare downs, guys. We got some good ones. No wild shenanigans, but definitely some tension. I think the fighters are feeling that, definitely feeling that heat ahead of Saturday's fight. So 15 fights scheduled, guys. Let's hope that they all stick around. Nothing, knock on wood, nothing, no ill fate befalls any of them. But please stick around now. Again, as we said earlier, we will have talent, UFC media talents coming up soon to talk, including John Anik, Megan O'Leary, and of course, DC, Daniel Cormier. So stay on this stream, guys. Stay on this stream for our Talent Media Day. And that, yeah.
So we'll stay around and we'll have or maybe Dana too. We'll see.
Sure. And maybe Dana too. Fingers crossed. We don't know. But thanks for joining us, guys. And
we were told probably not for Dana, but you never know.
Okay. Jose says probably not. So, but we are going to sign off for now. We're not signing off. Stay tuned to the stream. But I mean, we're not. I'm getting out of here. Casey and Jose. Jose is still on site, bringing you guys top-notch coverage. But I will check in with you guys later. Thanks for joining us, everyone.
Hey, we're live now.
Number 16, Sparta is versus Vic Maynard, actually, after him putting 15 fights on this card. It's been a tough year, and obviously this is a byproduct of that, I think, in some respects. The biggest challenge for me, from a play-by-play standpoint, is that I just was here and did 9 fights last week. So the preparation has been a little bit condensed. But 30 fighters, Johnny. I'm probably going to miss something.
I guess for aspiring broadcasters, people that want to do what you do, give an idea, how much preparation time goes into, researching a 15-fight card?
Aspiring broadcasters, go do football, because the first half is over in 90 minutes. Then you get orange slices, and then you're out of there an hour and a half later. So, no, I mean, we're on a headset for 8 hours tomorrow night. So I would tell aspiring broadcasters to buckle up and get ready. But as Brian Stan, my longtime broadcast partner, would always say, it's an open book test. You might as well show up with some damn notes. So I have more notes than I know what to do with right now. But, I'll wake up tomorrow and I'll look at my cards. I'll see who I'm light on and maybe do a little bit of last-minute preparation. But tonight's going to be a bear. I mean, I probably won't stop banging keys until 2 o'clock in the morning. But this is the devil I know, baby.
Also, I guess for people that want to feel your shoes some days, I mean, how do you balance energy, right? You just said 8 hours. That's a unique thing, right? That doesn't happen in sports broadcasting.
I remember the first day I was hired, Craig Borsari, my boss, said to me, you got to leave room in your register as the fights get bigger. You can't just blow it out for the first prelim of the night. That's easier said than done. I mean, you can be sure if something special happens between Trevin Jones and Mario Bautista, I got to let it rip. And if the voice is compromised or the energy is compromised, so be it. So I do try to monitor the energy a little bit early on, and I often find in a 3-man booth, there may be fights where I'm asked to do a little bit more. I try to feel out my analysts, and I feel like if their energy starts to wane, I got to be there to pick them up. But nothing can condition you for this exercise and play-by-play other than actually going through it.
Well, it's going to be a long one, but I know you love the sport. I know you love the story. So these 3 title fights, right? Each of them so interesting, I think, because there's such a unique dynamic between all 3 of them. Is there one of the stories of the title fights that speaks to you more than the other?
Well, I said this morning, and some of you were within earshot, every time Amanda Nunes fights, every time Khabib Nurmagomedov fights, they are putting their legacy as a greatest of all time type on the line. So anytime Amanda fights, there's always a lot of pressure on her. You can argue Megan Anderson is fighting to save a division. I don't know the inner workings of that, but there's pressure on both sides. And then the untalked about part is that Israel Adesanya is 20-0 as he moves up to light heavyweight, right? So the timing, people are wondering about the timing and why is Izzy sort of biting off this challenge now. But he's putting a 20-0 record on the line. That's a very big deal to me. And of course, the title fight everybody's talking about, Sterling Yan is a pick'em fight, getting 2-way action here in Vegas. So you saw the intensity at the stare down a few minutes ago. So thankfully, this card held together. Championship triple headers are a rare thing.
Last thing for me, there is so much attention on the top 3 fights. I think the other 12 aren't really getting much love at all. So is there one fight or one fighter, a storyline, a nugget that you unearthed in your research? I mean, something that you're most kind of like anticipating or think people should be paying attention to?
Well, in a lot of respects, it's moving night in the flyweight division and in the bantamweight division. So I would certainly keep an eye on those 2 weight classes, but it's hard for me to go in any other direction with this question other than Dominick Cruz, because I've probably spent more time with him than any man or woman on this roster. So I know him acutely. I know him intimately. I know the challenges that he had in coming back in a championship setting back in May. And it seems as though he was able to put in the requisite work this time around. Doesn't mean desired result, but if he held up, his speed is there. Was a little bit of a tough weight cut, but I'm excited to see what he can do. Casey Kenney's the favorite, and I think deserves that distinction. So maybe a cop-out answer, Johnny, but the featured prelim's the one that jumps off the card for me.
You know what I'm going to ask you? What do you make of Yan being the underdog as the defending champ? He hasn't, like, looking at his past few fights, it seems like fans expected his opponent to win, like Rockhold, Jacare, Dom. They wanted to make a name off him. Yan is once again the underdog, even though he is the defending champ.
Yeah, I didn't know which Yan you were talking about. Looks like Petr Yan might actually close as the underdog. 2-1 underdog. And I think the fight is properly priced, if I'm being honest. You know, I think a lot is going to be made of Israel Adesanya's size. He told us in our fighter meeting that he is going to go back to 185 pounds after this fight. He probably told you the same messaging. But if he was to move up to 205 with finality, then he would progressively put on muscle and maybe would walk in there at 215 or 220. I think Jan Blachowicz might have more ways to win. So if you're looking at him from an underdog perspective in that way, he's got a lot of ways to win. And I think if he is able to take Izzy down, we're going to get a real lens into how the fight could play out early on. Can he take Izzy down? Can he keep him there? Is he able to really outmuscle him on the ground as he thinks he'll be able to do? So a lot of interesting layers. But if you were looking for me to stand up here and say, I think that, you know, Blachowicz is a live underdog or deserves more respect from odds makers and bettors, I wouldn't say that. I think the fight is properly priced.
You mentioned the bantamweight fight. Those odds have flipped back and forth pretty much all week. Now you said Jan probably, or the defending champ, going to be an underdog too. Can you remember a time when bantamweight was this competitive, considering we've had historically such a dominant champions with Cruz, Dillashaw, and then Cejudo giving up the belt?
It's a good question. And if you look at the top 15 at 135 pounds, might be my favorite division. I think it is our deepest division if you look at the top 20 at 135 pounds on paper. I do think there's a little bit of recency bias with Aljamain Sterling because of the nature of his win over Corey Sandhagen. Even though it was so long ago, it was such a monumental result that I think it still resonates. I guess my concern on the Sterling side as a bettor would be you're talking about 88 seconds of fight time in the last 20 months. So I know the Hayes in the barn, he's put in a lot of great work with a lot of great training partners, but not a lot of octagon time in the last couple of years for Aljo. So I think that bears watching.
And finally, I think outside of Amanda, Islam Makhachev is the biggest betting favorite. He hasn't fought in a long time. Drew's obviously been active. So how much are you looking forward to the lightweight fight too?
Can't wait to see what Dober can do with the opportunity. And for Islam Makhachev, I know the number 14 is the one next to his name, but I think he is ubiquitously regarded in this sport as a top 5 guy. And I know Drew Dober feels like the opportunity that is in front of him is not just fighting the number 14 guy in the world. So I know Daniel Cormier is not the only one who thinks Makhachev is a future UFC champion, but Drew Dober should not be plus 380 against any man at 155 pounds in the world right now. Look at his current form. He's been building methodically to this moment. So I think there's value on Drew Dober, and Islam always getting that respect from bettors and odds makers alike.
Right here, John, to your left. It's good to see you.
Good to see you.
Fight Island kind of got the press and the headlines during the pandemic for being very helpful to the UFC, but the UFC Apex, where we are right now, has been crucial to the UFC. What are the advantages for you from a broadcast perspective of being here at the Apex?
That's a good question. They're minimal. I mean, I guess it's an easier navigation to go to the bathroom, but I would always prepare to have 25,000 people in this building. But yeah, I mean, I think coming here, it feels like I'm coming to the UFC headquarters. I know exactly where my bosses are. So it's Groundhog Day in terms of the COVID testing and going through the routine. But we're used to it now. But I don't know, man. I look forward to getting back to the big arenas, if I'm being honest.
And some of the bells and whistles and the new control room and the new studio. How helpful is that for your job to have that stuff?
Isn't it amazing that we have this facility, right? Thank goodness we have this facility and are ready to go with all of these live events. I've only been in the new studio once, but whole lot of bells and whistles there. Reminded me a little bit of actually our old studio at Fox back in the day. So I'm excited to be here. I still wish I lived here, as many people know. But I'm just so thankful that we have the staff we do in this facility because, I don't know, we'd be scrambling trying to figure out where to put these things. So it's good to be here, man.
Thanks, John.
Thank you.
John over here. John, when you obviously commentating, it's also part of the job, not just, what's going on, but the storylines going in. When you have these kinds of fights, you've got Jan Blachowicz, obviously we respect him, but we know wins. It sets up this world of possibilities of big fights that people are excited about. As the commentator, how do you balance making sure you're giving both of their guys the love in real time?
Well, I think that's always our initiative, is to try to play it even-handedly and to try to give both guys as much credit as humanly possible. Jan Blachowicz is the incumbent. He's going to be the last guy to make the walk here tonight, so you can be sure that he's going to get all of that respect and then some on the broadcast. And, he has visions beyond Adesanya, too. I mean, it just so happens that his first title defense is coming against a guy who has vaulted to superstardom and is all the rage with all sorts of different people and all sorts of different walks of life. But Jan Blachowicz wants to be in the UFC Hall of Fame, and he ain't going to get there if he doesn't beat Israel Adesanya. So that's one motivated man with a lot more than power. He's got a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt he can lean on too. So you can be sure we're going to dive head first and give Jan Blachowicz his due. I mean, I married into a Polish family. I'm going to put the Polish guy over.
I hear you. Finally, you talked about it. This is a lot of fights. You got to pace yourself. What are some of the things that people may not know that you do? Do you drink a special tea during fight night? Is there something, you try to keep your word count low? Tell us some of the tricks to make sure you're still good by the time Jan Blachowicz walks out there.
You guys are giving me a lot of added anxiety, reminding me that we have 30 athletes who are going to make the walk. But there is some pacing that goes into that. I don't drink too much during the broadcast because I may not get a break to go to the bathroom. I drink water, coffee, tea, a little bit, just sipping it here and there. But there's adrenaline that sort of plays into it, thank God. So I do think that the results sometimes can help your energy and be a performance enhancer. We had 7 straight decisions to close the show last week. And even though some of those fights were great, that's certainly not doing anything to help your adrenaline and your energy. So hopefully we get some finishes, man. Thank you.
Somebody open up my microphone. Turn the volume up on my microphone.
DC, former 2-division champion, right? We got a guy trying to do the same thing. Give me an idea. I mean, Israel seems like the most confident human being on the planet, right? But is there some kind of mental doubt, some kind of, mentality that he's going to have to, overcome when you're stepping up a weight class?
I don't think that the doubt or any of that stuff is present right now because normally, listen, most fighters have a little bit of doubt. There's like, I hope, but the moments that he'll think mostly about this stuff is the private moments when he's by himself tonight, when the coaches are all gone, the quarantine has started, and you're in there by yourself thinking about how big a moment is right at your fingertips, So he is confident. This is a guy that doesn't doubt himself much, but this is a big ask, man. And it's in those quiet moments, though. Tonight when it's 11:30, 12, you can't sleep, knowing that You have a full day. Middle of the day tomorrow, after you get up, before you head to the arena. Those are the moments where you start to ask those questions about, can you get this big thing done?
How about physical once the fight starts, right? I mean, how different do human beings feel in different weight classes? I mean, do you notice it right away? Like, oh my God, this dude's way stronger than anybody I've been fighting.
Well, it's to the person, right? Because for me, Stipe wasn't all that big. I might have weighed more than him the first time we fought. So you feel the difference in the power, right? You could tell they punch a little harder when you're used to something. But it just takes time to get started. Once you get started, get used to the power, used to the speed and the pace at which the fight's going to take place, it's just another fight. These guys have fought and competed their whole lives. So nothing is really going to surprise them. And you got to remember, Izzy's fought at heavyweight. Izzy's fought heavier guys. So this won't be that difficult and different for him.
You touched on the heavyweight, right? Him and his team are saying they win here, they might even look to go up to heavyweight. Is that pure insanity, or can he accomplish that in the UFC's heavyweight division too?
Not necessarily, because he's a tall guy. If he was short, maybe it would seem like, oh, this dude can't fight 85 and then heavyweight. But he's done it before, right? And I think ultimately you have to make sure that it's the right kind of matchup if you're playing with heavyweights. You don't want to be fighting heavyweight with Francis, as a guy that's coming from 185. But for the right matchup, yeah, why not? I believe that this kid can do whatever he wants. I think he's just that good.
Yeah. And if he does that, I mean, if he were to win on Saturday and go up to heavyweight, whether it be Stipe, whether it be Francis, whether it be John, let's say he takes a heavyweight title too, in 2 fights, could we be talking about this guy's the greatest of all time?
Well, I mean, I don't think he would go up to heavyweight in 2 fights. That's crazy, right? You can't go from 185 to heavyweight in a matter of fights. I think it would take some time. But I think this speaks, honestly, this line of questioning speaks to who Israel Adesanya is. That's even a conversation, that he could attempt to do something that outlandish. There was a time where nobody thought being a 2-division champion was possible. Now we're talking about a guy that may pursue 3 titles, and talking from a 20-pound jump to a 60-pound jump. That just speaks to the level of athlete that Adesanya is.
I know you love storylines and promotion. Out of these 3 title fights, they're all very unique. Is there one of them that speaks to you more than the other, that, just like the story coming into it?
I love the 2-division champion story. I think that's always special. But I do love the bantamweight title fight. Those guys don't like each other. They've been going at it over social media. They told me Petr just told Aljamain he's going to fucker him up. So that's like a cool thing, I like it. I like the bad blood. I like that these guys don't like each other. I like that Petr's trying to speak English. And although broken, it makes its point. Aljo heard it. He knew what he meant, So I love this fight, man. I love the style fight. I love the differences in where they're from. I love the different approaches in fighting. I just think there's so many layers to this bantamweight title fight that you cannot sleep on it.
Last thing for me, and I think I might know what you're answering here, but the 3 title fights everybody's talking about, but there's 12 other fights as well. Is there a name on there that stands out to you that we need to be paying attention to? I think I might know who it is.
There are a lot of guys, but Makhachev and Dober. I know you guys call me a homer, for my guys, but I've seen this kid work for so long, and he's so good, man. I think that consistency, if Islam can get out in front of people consistently, then you'll start to appreciate what he is. Remember, same thing with Khabib. Khabib was hurt for years and years and years, and then Ramadan and all the other reasons why the guys go away. But the moment he was consistent, he became the greatest fighter in the world. And I think that Islam has a lot of those same traits.
Daniel, do you look at this fight in the main event and think, for Israel, it's almost perfect he's coming off the Paulo Costa fight, right? Because that's a big, heavy hitter who's also massive at middleweight. And if you look at stylistically, him and Yan kind of seem similar. Is that the perfect fight to come into?
You look at Paulo Costa and you think that because of the size, it could be comparable. Jan Blachowicz is a whole different animal. I mean, I watched Jan Blachowicz knock out Dominick Reyes going backwards with his offhand. That speaks to the power of who Jan Blachowicz is. This guy landed that right hand against Corey Anderson. Corey went to sleep. He landed that uppercut on Luke. Dude went to sleep, but that was his power hand. Then he goes and knocks out Dominick Reyes with a left hand, the offhand. So there is no equal to him in that sense in terms of who Izzy has seen in the UFC. He hasn't felt the power that he's going to feel on Saturday night if Jan's able to land. So while you may say there's similarities, this is a completely different fight because Jan just fights a different way. He's going to plow forward in a smaller octagon, trying to get at a smaller guy in Israel Adesanya.
Yeah, you kind of speak me to the punch there. If you look at his cage, do you think it favors Blachowicz?
I do believe it favors Jan. It's easy. It will be easier for him to set traps. There won't be as much space for Izzy to operate in. For Adesanya, even though he has proven to be extremely tough, right? We saw him go through the 5th round with Gastelum when he was beat up a little bit. We saw him deal with Robert Whittaker in the fashion that he did, where he stood in there. He stood in there with Paulo Costa, but there was space if he needed it. In this octagon tomorrow night, he will be forced to stand with Jan in much closer vicinity than he probably needs to or wants to.
And last thing for me, if you get to decide you can book John Jones versus Israel, do you do it at light heavyweight or do you do it at heavyweight to make Israel really chase that glorious moment?
Man, let me tell you something. These guys seem to be on a collision course, right? I know what that feels like. I know what Izzy feels. It's frustrating. You want to get your hands on the guy. But ultimately, if you're Team Adesanya, you don't give him all the advantages, right? You make him, if he's gotten so big, you make him come back down, right? We didn't fight at heavyweight when I was undefeated. He said it, and I did it. Come down to me. If you're going to talk so much, come down to me. So I went down to the weight class that he was performing in. Izzy needs to make sure that he doesn't give any of the advantages, and he won't. He's smart. His team's smart. He's going to fight him on his terms. And I think that's why you see a lot of the reactions from Jones, because he has a guy now that isn't willing to dance the dance that he wants to dance. Izzy's going to do what he wants. And that's the approach he needs to take.
Just to follow up on that, do you think it says something? Do you think Israel could have learned from your rivalry with John?
Well, I don't think he learned from me because, there's nothing to learn from me. I did it all wrong, right? I went to the playing field that he wanted and I lost the fights. So, yeah, don't learn from me.
But I mean, in terms of getting a reaction from John, it's like anytime Israel does something, he gets a reaction from John. And John does the same thing with you. Like, anytime you say something, you see John react to it.
Yeah.
I think Israel looks at that and goes, well, I can get under his skin really easy. I just need to poke the right places and get him to react.
Well, I think you're looking at a new different type of athlete, right? Adesanya is one of the internet age kids, right? They go and find things and they say it. It doesn't need to be proven as fact, but they will say it. And I think that annoys Jones. And honestly, man, I try not to say and talk about Jones much because it sounds like I don't like the guy, which I don't. But I'm not fighting anymore, right? So, but the reality is, there are the things that he has run into in terms of problems are very public. So it's easy pickings when it comes to Jones, and Adesanya is the type of guy that will use each and every one of them.
Hey, Daniel, over here on your left. It's good to see you.
I love your mask. Are you a wrestler?
I am a wrestler.
That's what I'm talking about. Lucha
Libre. It's from San Jose. It's from Pro Wrestling Revolution. Kane's.
Oh yeah, I trained there one time. I did a top. I wasn't very good.
I don't believe that. Do you take any back bumps?
I just jumped off the top rope, and it was awesome.
Onto who?
Just some guy that was in there.
Oh, that poor guy. Did he live to tell about it?
He did.
All right.
But I mean, there's an art to taking a bump, and he was a master of it.
I wanted to ask you, DC, the UFC Apex. It's been so crucial for the UFC here in the States during the pandemic. From a broadcasting perspective, what do you like about working here?
When the Apex first started holding fights, it was hard to feel the excitement, right? Because it's such a confined space that you didn't feel big fight week. They all kind of felt the same. But now it's changed because it's become a major factor in the fights. Now the Apex feels as if we're fighting at T-Mobile or at MGM. I think it's fantastic. I love the environment. I love the fights. I love the octagon size. There are so many different things and factors that play into why this has become one of the places that you recognize and pinpoint as a fight place, and I love it. I love everything about it.
And then from a fighting perspective, because obviously you fought here in August, what was that like compared to a full arena?
Just different, it's just different. Like I said, the octagon's a lot smaller. You know, and there are places where you would generally escape that you just don't. And I think that's why it plays to the heavier punchers. You know, you take the guys that want to operate in space and you make them fight you in closed capacity. And, you know, not everybody's okay with that. So, but it is a difference. It's not even necessarily about the fans, because oddly, it gets kind of loud in there. Even though there's not as many people, it's still loud when you're in the octagon. You can hear everything, but you can hear the people yelling. I can't remember. I think it was Moreno versus Figueiredo. And I looked around, like, how many people are in here? Because it sounded like the place was full because people were just so excited about the action that was going on in front of them.
And just last thing, can you clear something up for us? You're not AEW's secret signing that's coming on Sunday, right?
No, I'm not. No, I'm not. No, man. My back's so jacked up, man. I can't even wrestle if I wanted to. I can't wrestle to train for a fight. How am I going to do professional wrestling?
Any ideas on who it would be?
No idea. I saw Shaq the other day wrestling, so that was pretty cool.
What'd you think of that?
He did a good job. I think Shaq can do whatever he wants, man. The guy is just unbelievable in every single thing that he does. He's a great guy, great man, good friend of mine, and he just does fantastic work in whatever he chooses to do.
Would you have taken that table bump that he took?
Shaq's like 400 pounds, though, so like you don't have to even have a breakaway table. Shaq falls on the table, it breaks.
What happens if Daniel Cormier falls through a table?
I mean, had my weight today, it probably breaks.
Thanks, TC.
No worries.
TC over here.
Yeah.
I remember you saying you had actually trained with Adesanya long before he was the star he was today.
No, I asked him to train. I sent him a message. Rashad Evans put Adesanya and I in contact when I was going to fight Jones. Just before Izzy was the man. They said, there's this, Rashad's just like a very smart guy. He goes, there's a kid named the Last Stylebender, not in the UFC yet. You should reach out to him and see if he'll give you some sparring. And then initially I reached out to the guy. Me and Izzy started going messaging back and forth. And although not even in the UFC yet, and maybe his first fight, he didn't come though, because he anticipated at some point fighting Luke Rockhold, right? So he had the forethought to not put himself in a situation where Luke would have eyes on him every single day. So I needed him, but he just had forethought. He was like, you know what? Down the line, I'm going to be in the championship picture, and I may see Luke Rockhold, so it's not best for me to go there, which is crazy because you're the champion asking a kid to come and train, and he was like, you know what? I'm going to be the champion one day, so I don't want to give away my secrets. It was great.
You obviously meet a lot of people doing the commentary, probably coming through AKA. When you first meet a guy like Israel Adesanya, do you sense that, like, you know what? This kid is special compared to the many you meet?
You know, some people have it. You know, like some people have it. Like it didn't take a genius to see Cain Velasquez was the man, or that Habib is the man. Like Israel Adesanya has that same type of vibe. It's like an aura about these guys. Like he walked in the day on the set of the weigh-in show, and I go, you know, you're breaking through, right? You're not just an MMA guy anymore. You're breaking through. I can feel it. I can see it. And he's one of those guys that just kind of has it.
Thank you.
No worries.
DC, real quick thoughts on Dominick Cruz's return fight against Casey.
So excited to see Cruz in a fight situation. Listen, he processes information much quicker than most people, and he gave us a great answer in terms of the matchup with him and Casey. Great fight, big spot for Casey Kenney, a chance to beat a former champion. But the last time we saw Dominick Cruz in this situation on the prelims, coming back from a layoff, was when he destroyed Takeya Mizugaki. So Casey got to be ready from the moment they start fighting, and expect to see vintage Dominick Cruz. I mean, the guy is as good and as smart as anybody in the game. He employs it in a way that not many people can. Okay.
One more question. Yeah. Hi there, DC. My name is Igor. I'm from Russia. Khabib is here. He will meet with Dana after tournament. I think Dana said that door's still open. What do you think about all this situation?
You know, if, like I said last time, if Khabib agrees to see you and discuss it, you continue to do it. You continue to do it until eventually there's just no other option, because he's one of the biggest stars in the whole world. So you want him competing if you can get him to do it. I don't know. I don't know if he's going to fight, but I do know that if he doesn't fight, Islam Makhachev is a guy that does have potential to be the UFC champion. And I have to try to stay as middle of the road as I can when I call these fights because I have the utmost respect for Drew Dober. And so when my teammates fight, it's difficult. I will call this fight as I see it. But obviously, teammates, friends, I wish him the best. Okay, thank you guys.
Are we on? There we go. Hi.
Megan, obviously a big UFC event, but a big fight in the Benavidez household, I guess, as well. So what was the decision process to work this weekend, right? I mean, was that something you discussed or that was an option for you?
No, I mean, I work pay-per-views and he fights on pay-per-views, so we both work. I mean, I think a lot of people don't like that I do, like other wives and stuff. They're like, how do you do that? But it keeps me occupied. I actually really enjoy working when Joe fights because I have something else to focus on. So I'm actually like way calmer for this fight than I would be if I wasn't working because that's all I have to think about. But I've been doing scripts and fight prep and studying and watching, all different fights that it actually helps me handle the entire process because it doesn't get easier for me. It actually gets a lot harder. Every fight is like, I'm more stressed and it's like crazier emotions for me. So it's a good distraction.
You're uniquely positioned to talk about it because you're a professional broadcaster and it's your loved one in there, right? I mean, how difficult is it? Because I don't think people necessarily understand how difficult it is to watch a loved one in there. Like, as much as we all love this sport, how difficult it is. So, I mean, what is that process like?
It's the person you love the most in the world, who you have watched sacrifice for months and do everything they can for this 15 or 25-minute period to go their way, and there's nothing you can do to help. It is the most helpless feeling ever. And like I said, I mean, Joe is the person I love the most in the world. He's the most important thing in my life. And to not have any control over the outcome and to just know how hard he has worked and all the sacrifice and efforts that have been made, it's emotionally the most difficult thing I think I've had to do, as a wife, certainly, and probably in life, one of the most difficult things I've ever had to do because, I mean, there's also outside voices, right? So it's not just that, but it's then everybody in their opinion and DMs and this and that and Twitter. And it's so much that I just try and silence whatever I can because I just can't handle it all.
Obviously your professionalism has never been a concern, but do you ask to don't make me speak about his opponent or, don't make me do the walk-in intro for the opponent or that sort of thing?
Yeah, I mean, that would probably be awkward. So I think that one is just covered with my bosses. But no, it's never been really hard for me. I was his girlfriend back in the WEC. Long before people knew we were even dating. We were dating. We just hadn't made it public. And then once we told the Fertittas and Dana, and they were always so good about it, my thing was just to treat everyone like Joe. So, whether it's an opponent or somebody from, I don't know, not that Joe has any rivals, I was going to say from a rival team, but that's not really a thing. But it's just about the way I approach things is that Joe's on the other side, whether it's actually Joseph or not. I want their loved ones to feel that I gave them the respect I want my own husband to get when he's in that position or when they're speaking about him, whatever it may be. So it's very important to me that even though, for instance, the pay-per-view in December, sure, it wasn't like necessarily the people I would pick to speak about, Figueiredo or whatever it may be, but I still want to pay him the respects and be the most professional I can be and recognize his achievements and speak to him again as if it was situations were reversed. And so it's important to me. And I know that Joe appreciates it too, because we always want to be as professional and, just on that level. We always want to take the high road and things. And that's how I approach all of it.
That's clearly the most important fight of the night, but there are 3 title fights happening as well.
Exactly.
Just curious. I mean, 3 title fights. Each of them has such an interesting story, right? There's so much differences between them. Out of the 3, is there one that like just most captures your imagination or attention?
Yeah, I mean, I think seeing that face off with the bantamweights, I was like, oh man, this has even more heat than maybe we recognized. But I am thrilled for this main event. I really am. I think Jan is maybe underrated sometimes in terms of how talented he is and what he brings to this matchup. And then how can you not love watching Stylebender all the time? And knowing that history is on the line there for Izzy, it adds something special to the matchup. So I'm intrigued by all 3 of them, but I'm really looking forward to seeing, how Jan comes out there and competes against a guy with a style like Israel, the speed of Israel, and really can history be captured once again.
Last thing for me, I mean, so much attention is being given to those 3 title fights. Are there any, people that told you a story or matchups or anything on the prelims or undercard that maybe people aren't paying attention to that you think, hey man, keep an eye on this?
Yeah, well, I mean, I know Dominick Cruz and Casey Kenney have gotten a fair amount of shine for their featured prelim spot, but I think that is going to be a really interesting matchup. There's a lot of ways this one can go, and I think it would be very telling for both of their careers and futures. But I'm also, it sounds like I just love the flyweight division, but I like the Tim Elliott Espinosa matchup. I think that one, they're both very athletic. They're both unique wrestlers. I think that one could be a really fun one as well.
Hey, Megan, over to your left.
Hi.
How are you?
Great. How are you?
Good. I was wondering, what do you like about working here at the UFC Apex?
Well, that I can go home right after. I mean, for all of us that live in town, to be able to just drive home after the event in 20 minutes and grab some snacks on your way, that's probably what I like the most. But I love the intimate setting. I actually really enjoy it. Listen, you guys all know there's nothing like, a sold out arena and having the fans in there, but there is something special about this intimate setting and being able to hear the fighters if they're talking in the octagon, hear the cornermen so clearly, and really just take it all in, the emotions that come with it. They're very present here. There's no crowd to distract or no, walkout path that they're all the way across the arena and you don't see them. You get to see every part of this. And I think for me, that's really special. It's also easier to navigate on fight night for somebody in my position, like physically to be able to be in one position and then the next with 2 minutes in between. It does make things easier, but I love the Apex. I would not be mad if we had every fight at the Apex from now on.
Yeah, from like a broadcast perspective, because it's kind of like a one-stop shop, right?
Yes.
There are several studios around, so you can get a lot of work done in a few hours.
Oh, for sure. I mean, that studio is absolutely incredible. It is state of the art. It is beautiful. I mean, when you walk in there, you're just like, wow, I get to host a show in here. Like, it's that nice. But then you have the action right here. So to have a studio show where it's not off-site, it's special. So if the desk analysts want to go sit octagon side, they can, where the desk host can really be running into the athletes before or after they compete. It does add a layer to us to be able to say, hey, I saw the athlete 3 minutes ago or whatever it may be, plus actually be able to go from a world-class venue, which is inside there with the octagon, to a studio, to even like the viewing area on the second floor. It's all amazing.
When you're doing your stand-ups, when fighters are walking out, there's no crowd in here, so can they hear you? Have they ever said anything like, "Oh, I heard what you were saying"?
No, I actually have never thought of that. Now I'm going to be nervous. Thanks. Yeah. Wow. No, but they actually, when I do rehearsals, it's on the TV screens everywhere. And I didn't know that until a fighter told me that they heard me doing their walkout rehearsal hit. They loved it. So it made me feel good. But, I never thought about that. I think maybe the walkout music drowns me out. Let's hope.
I think so. Thanks, Megan.
Thanks.
Megan over here.
Hi.
Haven't done this for a while. There's a lot of emotions, win or lose, and you've been there for so many post-fight interviews, either with Joseph or anyone else. Have you ever had a fighter's team just be like, you know what, Megan O'Leary, I felt like you were being biased. I felt like you were rooting for the other one.
Never. I've literally never had that. I think probably all of you here know that I don't really conduct myself in that way. Joseph doesn't conduct himself in that way. I think if I was married to somebody who competed on the roster and maybe wasn't as well liked or well respected as my husband Joseph is, it would be different. But he kind of minds his own business. He says hi to everybody. You know, he likes everybody, respects everybody. So it's never been a problem. I mean, you're going back from WC, like, you know, even him and Dominick Cruz when they fought, and Dom had a rivalry with Team Alpha Male, which Joe was on at the time. He and Joe were super cool, and they always have been since then. And I think it just is a difference maker that, you know, I handle myself professionally, but also that Joseph does as well.
I think a lot of fans have always wondered, what is that moment like when Joseph has fought, you're working the event, and let's say, for example, Demetrius Johnson, he just beat Joe, and you talk to him. Just what's that experience kind of like? What's that interaction?
Well, I mean, it's one I don't like to think about, but I haven't actually had to do that. I've never had to be in that position. So, I mean, I'm trying to think. I mean, every time I work and Joe fights, he wins. So it's been, I've never had to like be in a position where someone just beat him and I had to do a post fight. So I hope that does not happen on Saturday either.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks.
Right.
Hi.
Real quick thoughts on just Dominick Cruz's return in general. As a fellow broadcaster, you're watching him make the walk in.
Yeah, no, I'm really excited for his return. Dominick does his homework, and I think that's what makes him a good fighter and a good broadcaster. He does watch all the film, and he's learning and he's growing and he's taking things away from what other people are doing, and he's implementing that into his game. I'm excited to see how he returns. I actually really like that position on the card for him because I feel like, you know, it's ESPN. It's a huge platform, but without the added pressure of having to be, you know, and I don't know if Dominick feels this way, but, you know, to not have to have the, you know, a title on the line or kick off the pay-per-view, right? Or whatever it may be. I think it's a lower pressure scenario, which all he has done is fought for a belt for, God, how many years now? So I think it's a great position, and it allows for a lot of different things that maybe a main event or a title fight wouldn't. Thanks, guys.